One more win locks in the Dockers' first finals campaign since 2015. But if September footy is to be secured tonight, Freo will have to beat another top 8 side in Sydney. Buddy Franklin is here for the Swans. His future has been a major talking point this week. But this is a ground he loves. 14 goals in just a couple of appearances here. And he will provide, as always, a major challenge for Fremantle's defence. 2 of the past 3 games between Freo and Sydney at this ground have been thrillers. Round 18, 2019, a 1-point win for the Dockers. Round 10, 2021, Freo got home by just 2 points. Tonight could be just as close. There's no late changes to speak of. The medical subs, Ethan Hughes for Fremantle, Harry Cunningham for Sydney, as it's 3rd versus 7th on Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden with you in commentary alongside Ben Cameron. G'day, Ben.
G'day, Clint. Looking forward to this one, particularly Buddy Franklin. He loves it here on his home patch out west. He's played 2 games here at Perth Stadium. He's kicked 14 goals across those 2 games. I think when he last met Fremantle, Griffin Logue actually did an okay job on him, but he still ended up with 6 goals. And as we know, Clint is trying to ensure that he stays paid in another season next year as his $10 million 9-year deal at the Sydney Swans comes to a close at the end of this season. What will Buddy do as he struts around Perth Stadium tonight? I can't wait to find out.
I love the Buddy strut. We'll get to see it maybe. He doesn't get the deal he wants for the last time. He's warming up beneath our broadcast position. With us in commentary, Brownlow medalist Shane Woewode and All-Australian Cara Antonio. Griffin Logue, as Ben said, did a really good job last time. Incredible to say that, considering he gave up 6 goals. I reckon 2 of them were maybe controversial free kicks. Does he get the job again tonight? Good to see you both.
Yes, thank you, Clint. Great to be here. Good to have you, Cara. It's exciting affair tonight, really, isn't it? And what it matches up to be with both teams. And Freo in really good nick. I still haven't worked out Sydney as yet with their form line. Their inconsistencies, one off, one on, week to week. So that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing tonight, where they sit and how they come across here against a really strong Fremantle outfit. But for me tonight, Supply, Cara, who obviously I thought Sydney midfield dismantled Western Bulldogs particularly early last week. They've got to be really at their game tonight, which I think, Fremantle's midfield's very strong. It's probably their strongest unit at the moment, how they're all firing on all cylinders at the moment. So a really good supply battle for both teams.
Yeah, hey Wowie, Benny and Clint and listeners, I'm the same with you, Wowie. I'm really excited for tonight's game. Sydney, we know in previous weeks, especially post-bye, they've really been impressive with their fast starts. They were 13th in the comp pre-bye, and they now sit 3rd in the comp for their fast start. So we know that will be a focal point for them. They annihilated the Bulldogs, as you already mentioned, Wowie. So for me, it will be won and lost probably in the centre. Who wins those centre clearances, giving Supply up forward? And I'm really excited to see Sydney in the flesh. I've watched a little bit of them over the season, and you're right, they've been a little bit hit and miss, but they love to go through their corridor. They love to attack through there, no matter what. So I'll be excited to see if the pressure from Fremantle, which they pride themselves on, can obviously create turnovers in corridor and maybe get them on the rebound and hit the scoreboard.
Yeah, Papley's a danger for Fremantle. Whether or not he can have short bursts in the middle, but certainly inside forward 50, and what he does at ground level in there, in the energy he provides. I think the biggest story of the year, I think so far, Nelly, is probably Paddy McCartan and what he's been able to do, coming off a serious length of concussions, and it's a great story, and I think he leads the competition in intercept marks. What he's been able to do, coming in as a key forward in the game, but now transferring himself into a elite key defender and win the ball back for his team, alongside his brother Tom. They're a great combination. So again, Fremantle and how they deliver this footy inside 50, so they don't bring those 2 players into play tonight, will be really important. So lowering their eyes, finding those ones inside, to be able to negate the influence of what they do in the air.
Absolutely, and even any shallow entries tonight from Fremantle, we know that it's going to be intercepted, and we know the likes of Lloyd especially has been really good running off halfback. They like to stay involved, their halfbackers. So again, needs to be deeper, so the big man in your Taberner and your Lob can bring it to ground, and that involves your Fredericks and your Schultz, which have been outstanding the last couple of weeks as well. And Benny's favourite stat, when Schulte kicks 2, Fremantle are bound to win. So we'll see if that pans out tonight.
19 and zip.
19 and zip. Have they got one of the best small forward combinations in the league, Fremantle, with what they do? I reckon Collier, Frederick, Schultz, Walters, Banfield, and Switkowski's out.
Yep.
Through his back. But I reckon they are a very, very good combination.
They are.
Now, what they do at ground level, and they contribute their pressure. I think JL would really, and he pushes the pressure in what they do in their front half. But if they get looks tonight too, they're up against a quality defence. It's going to be an exciting game because I think they both do bounce off halfback really well. Both teams, so yeah, exciting.
Really interesting moment as well. Each individual player is introduced to the crowd as part of the pre-game entertainment here at Perth Stadium, and Michael Walters and Michael Frederick, who were both subjected to disgusting racial vilification on their social media after last week's game against St Kilda and made that public. They've really had the Fremantle family wrap their arms around them, and when both were introduced, there was a greater audible cheer for both of them as the Fremantle fans showed their support. I do remember as well that this has happened to Michael Frederick before. I'm sure it's happened to Michael Walters before, but in his young career, he's made it public, and he missed the next week with personal reasons. So, I certainly can't speak to how deeply it cuts because I haven't experienced it, but you can make a fair assumption given that.
It's been pretty powerful, the rest of the AFL community as well, getting behind the two boys and the footy club and showing their support. I know the Richmond Footy Club put together a bit of a video, making their stance against racism. So it's a pretty powerful message, and it's one that obviously unites the entire AFL community, which is pretty special.
And Peel Thunder, of course, today all wearing shirts saying there's no place for racism. I thought the entire Fremantle football community got right behind those two players. Again, just incredibly disappointing. A lovely touch from the Fremantle supporters who are in tonight to show their support for both Michael Frederick and, of course, for Michael Walters. There's another game taking place. We'll keep you right across that. It's a big one too. Carlton up against Geelong. Early goal to the Cats. Reece Stanley putting them in front, and they've just kicked a behind as well, Geelong. So they're 1-1-7 with Carlton yet to score. Early stages there, about, let's say, about 3 minutes into that opening term. Akash Fodadar is with us downstairs. G'day, Akash. Welcome along.
Good evening, Clint. It's a beautiful evening down here, about 17 degrees, no real threat of rain, no real breeze. Bit of a subdued atmosphere to start, but the crowd is definitely filing in, and there is a little smattering of red and white amongst all the purple. So really looking forward to this game. Starting on the bench for Fremantle, David Mundy, Hayden Young, Travis Collier and Bailey Banfield. Ethan Hughes is the medical sub for the Dockers. Meanwhile, for Sydney on the bench, Dylan Stevens, Errol Goulden, Joel Amadi and Robbie Fox, and Harry Cunningham is the medical sub.
Which way are we tipping, everyone? Benny?
I think Fremantle, but only just, and only because I find it really difficult, like what he said, to get a read on the form for Sydney.
Yeah, likewise. Fremantle just.
Cara?
I think
I'm going to go the Dockers by 20 points.
I'm with you.
Sydney play well here.
Yeah, I'm with you all. I'm tipping Fremantle. Sydney do play well here. They're 3-3 from trips. Of course, they have played the neutral game against GWS in one of their occasions, but they also go into this game having won the previous contest that was played up on the Gold Coast last year by 40 points. Kennedy was outstanding that day. He's not there today.
Never a good sign when we all tip the one way either, Clint.
No.
Which doesn't bode well for Fremantle.
It's very tough for Fremantle. Apologies to those in purple wherever you happen to be. And, of course, as always, if you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do so. Text message line, as it always, is 0437 774 774. If you'd like to get in touch, 0437 774 774. Let us know where you're texting in from and your name as well, and we'll get to those throughout the night here on Grandstand AFL. ABC Radio Perth, throughout New South Wales on ABC News Radio, and of course streaming as always on the AFL app. Two captains making their way out into the middle for the toss of the coin. Coming across first there is Dane Rampy, and with him Nat Fyfe. Ben Cameron will put his glasses up. Toss of the coin, Ben.
Yeah, Nat Fyfe has won the toss. He's going to kick to the city end of the ground. quite funny too. I mean, I know Nat Fyfe is a big-bodied midfielder, but Dane Rampy, an undersized key defender, and Nat Fyfe dwarfed him. They're in the middle. Fremantle kicking to the city end, as I said.
Second goal for the Cats, 2-1-13. They lead after 4.5 minutes against Carlton. That game will keep you right across. It is another important one. Top of the table side in Geelong against another top 4 aspirant in the Blues. There's already been a major upset. North Melbourne, just a short time ago, ending a 14-game losing streak by beating the Tigers. And now our focus here at Perth Stadium. Can Fremantle lock in a finals berth? No team since there's been a top 8 has missed out. In a position in the finals with 13 wins, the Dockers currently one shy of those. Though Sydney, they're chasing their 11th win of the season as well, and they also have an eye to playing when it matters in September. The lights sparkle around the ground, the roof bathed in purple. Crowd of about 35,000 in at the moment, a few more filling the seats as I speak. It is a battle of two sides in the top 8. Fremantle against Sydney, 3rd versus 7th. It's going to be an absolute corker of an encounter here on Grandstand AFL. It is low to stand next to Franklin as we're underway, and Ben Cameron to get us started.
Just one win separates these two teams. The umpire lays it down. Hickey and Darcy. Darcy stays down, slaps it to Fyfe. Ricochets off his shins, picked up by Sarong. Jams it on his boot. A turnover with the first kick. Florent marks for the Swans, defensive edge of the square. Now he kicks towards half forward, over the head of Ryan. Gathered by Heaney for Sydney. Dumps it on the boot, tumbles it inside 50. Cox is there to mark for the purple. Takes the defensive mark, 30 metres out from his goal. Brennan Cox will go laterally to his great mate Luke Ryan, who marks on the defensive 50, stabs it short and spots up the returning Akers. His first game since round 13 before the bye. When he injured his hamstring, he kicks towards the wing. The blonde-headed Logue goes at the football, can't take the mark. Brayshaw at ground level, so too Brody. Back feeds a handball to Akers. Fremantle with it, Sarong back to Ryan at halfback.
So Ryan sends it long towards right half forward. He wants Walters, who flies, went underneath the football. Florent read it best, takes the mark, sends it through the middle of the ground. Clark can't gather the bouncing ball. The other Clark does, though, for Fremantle. Ryan missed it, Jordan didn't. Hand pass was back. Brody over the top, couldn't get there. Umpire spots a free kick going Sydney's way. It'll be Ryan Clark, who missed it a moment ago, to play on by hand. Hands it off to Florent. Kicks long towards full forward. Papley, almost the amazing mark, battling with Ryan. Was somehow trying to drag it in with the left arm and trap it against his shoulder. It was almost incredible. Instead, it spills through for a minor score. Swans one behind. Dockers yet to score. 90 seconds gone in the first.
So Ryan with the kick in for Fremantle. Wants to bring it towards the northern wing. He'll kick towards halfback. Brennan Cox able to take the mark.
Great kick.
Under some closing pressure there from Mills from the Swans. Cox and Ryan, such a reliable duo down back for Fremantle. Cox towards neutral territory on the wing. Taberner comes up through his hands. Rampy at the back for Sydney. Gives it off to Lloyd on the logo. High ball inside attacking 50. Going up, Ryan can't take the mark. Franklin onto it from 50. Kick smothered by Ryan. Ricochets up and down into the air. Now Ryan applies the tackle and it's held in. We'll get a ball up. 47 metres out from the Swans goal. An early touch for Buddy. He's been in the headlines during the week. One behind to Sydney. Fremantle yet to score. 2.5 played.
Darcy wins it down. Heaney gathers off the deck. Came out the side. Jordan Clark hands it off for the Dockers. Now it's with Chapman. Hand passing forwards was taken without it, Walters. He was, and he'll get the free kick. No time to hear the whistle from downstairs, but eventually Walters will have it from the centre circles. Moves it short to Brody. Brody trots back. Akers wanted it for a moment in space at right half forward. Brody doesn't see him. He'll kick long into the left forward pocket. Lob comes out. Frederick front position. The spoil came from Sydney down to Sarong. 52 out from goal at left half forward. Kicks up and down on the spot. Paddy McCartan flew. Came out to Tom McCartan on the bounce. McInerney looked to tap it forward. Comes out the side to Florent in the right back pocket. Clearing kick towards right half back. Good mark to Cox for the Dockers. He has it about a metre in from the boundary, just shy of left half forward for Freo.
Fremantle want to switch it. He kicks into the middle of the ground, and Ryan, who kicks towards the attacking edge of the square, turns it over. Sydney come up with it through Warner, squeezes a kick away. Walker in good position. He juggles the mark defensively for Freo. Now he kicks forward of the wing, finds Akers. Akers will chip it short. Taberner on the lead at right half forward. A slow and decisive build from the Dockers. Taberner a little unsure. He looks inside 50. He'll set it up towards the pocket. Down there is Lob. Big pack forms, fisted away towards the boundary line. And out of play will get a throw in right forward pocket for the Dockers. They're yet to score. Sydney one behind. 4 minutes travelled. Opening term, Grandstand AFL. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shane Woden, the Brownlow medalist. Cara Antonio, the former Fremantle AFLW captain.
Spun back in, Darcy against Hickey. They both had a little touch on it, spilled the ground, gathered by Akers, threw it on the boot, couldn't really get it forward, went to Parker, onto Mills, and then Mills turns it over, kicking around the body, Lob sliding out, marks 47 from goal. It's going to be a kick tighter than a 45-degree angle. He'll start from right half forward.
Just Schultzy, hey? So that little death tap, that little bit of pressure to put on Parker, and a little bit of a shank kick, and Lob was in the right spot.
And they get a re-entry.
So Lob, a lot of talk about where he'll end up next year as well with the platinum blonde hair. Sends it towards goal. It misses to the right. Tight angle, but a minor score. Freo one behind, Sydney one behind. 5 gone in the opening quarter here on Grandstand AFL from Perth Stadium. Clint Wilden alongside Ben Cameron, our experts Shane Woden and Cara Antonio.
Had a lot between the arcs early in the first 4 or 5 minutes.
Blakey with a short kick into the pocket to Lloyd. Lloyd goes short to Warner. A boy from East Fremantle in the WAFL gives off the handball to Lloyd. All in motion now for the Swans. He kicks towards the wing, trying to find a marker there. Nice mark from Hayward. Moves it on quickly to half forward. Goulden goes up and juggles it, eventually completes it. 60 out from the Swans goal at right half forward. Goulden called to play on a low bullet-like pass. Hickey drops it. Should have taken it. Now Chapman in there for the Dockers. 47 out from the Swans goal. Aish goes in the long sleeves. Handball off to Sarong, and then Young a clear and kick.
Towards the southern wing. Good battle there. Paddy McCartan up against Taberner. They see it off hands and over for a boundary throw-in.
Had the kick surprised Hickey. Had that much heat on it early.
Too hot to handle.
I think it's going to be a free kick coming off Taberner's shin. That's unfortunate. A free kick to the Swans. Putting it into the right forward pocket. Lowe couldn't mark, spilled down. Aish gathered, went back by a hand to Ryan. It kicks towards left half back. Paddy McCartan diving forward. Can't mark this. Taberner happy to stay out of the way, not giving away the unfortunate free kick this time. It's over for a boundary throw-in. Where we were just seconds ago, right half forward for Sydney. The Cats lead the Blues by 6 points. 14 gone in the first term in Melbourne.
Hickey and Lob. Hickey lays it down in front. Trying to shovel out a handball Fife. There's a whistle. Almost advantage paid by umpire Justin Power, but it'll come back. Umpires Power, Gavin and Meredith in charge of this contest this evening. Fife with the headband on, just backward of the wing on the southern side of the ground. He'll kick long towards half forward. Darcy late arriving. McCartan there. It was Paddy down in front. Lob. He's tackled by Hickey. Loose footy. Walters is wrapped up. And a ball up between wing and half forward for the Dockers. One minor score apiece. 7 minutes played. Opening term.
Couple of texts saying how delighted they were with Fremantle's response when both Frederick and Walters' names were rang out. Let us know what you're thinking as well as the ball from the restart spills down. Sarong kicks inside forward 50. Schultz couldn't mark. Under pressure. Came from Paddy McCartan. Spill out to Mills. Got it to Tom McCartan of the Swans. Kicks beyond defensive 50. Fife keeps it in. Back to Darcy. Tackled. Somehow managed to get a little kick away. Hickey picks it up off the ground. H can't gather. Still there to be won. The Swans through Parker try to emerge with it. Great tackle Brody. Wrapped him up. The ball spills across the boundary line for a throw-in. 52 out from Freo's attacking goal. The Dockers heading to the right of our broadcast position. That's the city end of Perth Stadium in this opening term. Scores level at 1 behind apiece. Maybe a bit of a problem for Lob. We'll head downstairs in a moment to a cash.
Like prize fighters, just feeling each other out at the moment. As it goes inside 50 for the Dockers. Walters thought he might have been held. Fife picks it up, gives it off to Lobb, and he snaps on goal and kicks the first. He might have an injury, but he was able to finish. And slot Freo's first of the evening, 1-1-7. Sydney just one behind. We've played 8 minutes, opening term, Grandstand AFL. Carl Antonio and Shane Woden.
It's just Nat Fife generating movement at stoppage, able to get through and followed up his work. Clever by Michael Walters just to keep the ball surging. Fife found his way on the end of it and popped handball. I think he got winded Lobb in that tackle from Hickey, maybe, or fell on his wrist.
Wrist, maybe, yeah.
Might also be a problem with the right shoulder. A cash for today. What did you spot?
Yeah, Clint, it looks like it is Roy Lobb's right shoulder. The doctor ran out to him after that goal. He's sort of pointing to the collarbone, front of the shoulder area, and he's certainly favouring that right arm, so one to keep an eye on.
For whatever it's worth, I noted in the celebration, kept the right arm down. Yes. All the high-fiving done with the left.
Recover quickly when there's a chance on goal, though, don't you?
Oh, no doubt. From the restart, Hickey's kick went into the mush of Mundy, bounced away, Swans dive over the top of it, it's been held in. Florent had it, Walters thought he got him. Wanted holding the ball. Umpire throws it aloft instead. Hickey with the fingertips. Spills down. Papley was able to knock it forward. Clever to Parker. Wobbles a kick inside forward 50. Cox is too strong for Amati. Was able to work away from him. And then there's 50 here as well against Amati.
He's been good, really good early, Cox. That's his fourth mark.
This will bring Cox up through the corridor. He'll be able to have the shot. He'll be able to send it inside forward 50. From forward of the centre line. And he puts it towards full forward. Strong lead out here by Tom McCartan of the Swans. Couldn't mark. He thought he was the leading forward. Spilled the ground. Taberner tried to shovel it to Schultz. He looks to tap it back to Taberner. Picks it up. Threw it on the boot towards full forward. He wanted Lobb. Couldn't quite get there. Lloyd lurking. Swans pile over the top of it. Goulden couldn't pick it up. Hickey does. It's held to him. He's taken the ground. Wrapped up by Banfield. Ball up the call between centre half forward and full forward for Fremantle, who lead by 6 points. 11 gone in the opening turn.
Umpire puts it aloft. Darcy hooks it down. Swans should come away with it. Warner, he'll snap beyond the defensive 50 for the Swans. Bouncing ball. Young knocks it away. Papley trying to hack it forward. Clark coming through. Goulden picks it up. Gets away a handball, cruising through there, Stevens. He'll kick into the middle of the ground looking for Amati. Overshoots the target. Papley onto it. Left-footed kick towards Franklin. Bouncing ball. Logue attacks it. Buddy tackles him. They go to deck. And the umpire says, let me ball it up. The anticipation rose around Perth Stadium as Buddy was trying to get on the end of the loose footy. Fremantle by a goal. 11.5 played in the opening term.
Cats by 13 over the Blues. First term at the MCG. Dockers get the clearance from the restart. Collier sends it towards the southern wing. Banfield try to tap it back in. Lobb looks to back him up. Banfield has kept it in. Well done. Socket forward by Lobb. Net coming the other way. The Swans. Florent broke the Lobb tackle. Hand pass to Blakey. Got a hand pass forward, but Young steals it away. Well read by the Dockers youngster. Goes back to Walker at left half back. The kick bounces its way towards Aish. Gathers it. Hand passes backwards to Mundy again. Hand passes to Collier. He will put it on the boot to Sarong. Has the stretch, but marks and gets it in front of Paddy McCartan on the southern wing. Dangerous kick, but precise. Back to Cox at half-back. He'll switch play out to Chapman, who marks just forward of right half-back. Fremantle lead by 6. 12 gone in the first.
There's going to be 50 against Buddy Franklin as well.
Not here in the stand, I think.
He was moving on the mark, and that's quite appropriate, given the news of the week that he could be on the move. Chapman goes short and Mundy bobs up out of a sprinkler head. No Swans near him. He's taken the mark 45 metres out, the slightest of angles.
Just weren't switched on there, the backs for the Swans. Mundy just floated on in from his midfield role, and pretty good hands to have the ball in from that position. Lovely set shot on goal.
He's kicked some big goals in his time for the Fremantle Dockers, David Mundy. 369 games, 158 goals. Boot to ball from just inside 50. And age just won't weary him. Another goal for Mundy. 2 to start for the Dockers. They're 2-1-13. Sydney 1 behind at the 13.5-minute mark of the opening term. Clint Wilden, Ben Cameron, Shane Woden and Cara Antonio.
Yeah, he's been told to stand and kept moving back. You've got to really get out of that first 5 metres as quick as you can. Yeah, it's a bit stiff though.
Must not have heard it.
I don't think you can here at the stadium.
No.
But yeah, you're right, Cara. Just poor closeout by the Swans defenders, or even the midfield. Just didn't work back hard enough and just filling space and not taking out Mundy.
A few little bits of push and shove going on, Will, off the ball then as well, as Mundy was preparing to have that shot at goal. Good bounce to restart. Lob waits, one down by Reeddale of the Swans. Brody goes out after it. Saints who Rowbottom kicks into Brody. Now there's a whistle that was from Will off the ball. It's going the way of Fremantle here. It's coming here to Walters.
Favourite for the whistle at the moment, Fremantle.
Walters sends it inside forward 50 and he hits Banfield on the chest. In the left forward pocket, about 2 metres in from the boundary. Tight angle on goal, but he'll be able to kick from about 35 out.
Good by Fremantle, just getting to work the forwards. Looking for that uncontested mark, lowering their eyes, being patient. It generally will pop up a little bit later than normal.
Bailey Banfield looking to give Fremantle the first 3 goals of the game. He does. Tight angle, beautiful kick. Fremantle 3-1-19, Sydney 1 behind. It's pretty much all the Dockers on the scoreboard. They've been helped with the odd decision from the officials. They're in a handy lead. 15 gone in the opening term. Akash Vodadar is downstairs.
Yeah, Rory Lobb's still not right with that shoulder. He actually signalled to the doctor to come out to him, and they're chatting pretty closely, and he keeps pointing to that shoulder. He's staying out there, but he's definitely been trying to use his left arm as much as he can while that right shoulder bothers him.
And now he's going into the ruck. He's got no choice but to push through. Really good by Freo. The last 2 goals have obviously come off the back of free kicks, and Sydney just a bit flat-footed there in their D50.
Bailey Banfield, he's played every game this year, one of 5 Dockers to have done so. Clark, Brayshaw, Ryan, Brody, and Bailey Banfield back in the middle. Lob wins the tap with that left arm. Straight down to Mills, though. He's tackled quickly. Ball not coming out. We'll get a secondary ball up. As Clint said, if you've just joined us, Fremantle kicking the first 3 goals of the game. Warner trying to soccer it out of the middle. Brody tackles him. He's taken to deck. Umpire Power will come in and ball it up.
Last ruck contest didn't seem to bother him.
No.
Reed and Lob lock up again. Neither with the decisive tap. Mundy picks it up off the deck. Then he goes again. Eventually he gets it out to Brody. Brody kicks inside 50. Bouncing ball for Taberner. Right there with him is Tom McCartan. Does well to win it. Gives it off to Fox. Now Rampy stops, props. Kicks well to Mills, who has it 40 out from the Swans' defensive goal.
He'll switch play out to Florent in the left back pocket, who marks. Warner got a bit of a knock to the head a moment ago. Mundy running by when he was on the deck. Oh, Florent's kick was an absolute shocker. Set a real task for his teammate to be able to pick it up and send it down the line towards Haywood. Well done in the end. Goulden was able to gather it beautifully, but no doubt he was under enormous pressure for a second. Haywood goes back across half-back and he finds Lloyd, who looks to spin around. He gets away from Banfield and goes short to Goulden. That was better delivery for the Swan.
They want access to the corridor, Sydney. Fremantle, great density and be able to cover that right now.
Goulden with the blue boots. Moves it short once more. Looking to build here, Sydney, slowly as Lloyd eventually decides to kick long towards centre half forward. Lob worked Reed out legally from the contest, used his body to push him out of the way. Was able to stretch the arms up and take the mark. He's had a bit of work on the peroxide here, I reckon, over the last 7 days. It's gone from a goldie look to a platinum.
Borderline orange.
Last week.
Good toner.
Yeah.
You would know, Wowie.
Yep. Oh, he's not the Lone Ranger on that front, so I'm not going to point fingers as it moves to Young. And then on in turn to Brody. That was many years ago for both of us. Inside forward 50, big leap, no mark. Pfeiffer's at the bottom of the pack, worked it onto Taberner, surely dropped the footy, trying to get the kick away. Umpire says no. Play on. Swans can clear. It comes to Rowbottom. Kick straight up the middle of the corridor. Papley battling away against Walker. Then Shepherd's allows Heaney to gather. Sends it inside forward 50. Clever. The bounce from Marty was beautiful. He gathers and snaps from the right forward pocket. He gives Sydney their first. End-to-end stuff for the Swans. Their first of the night, coming at the 19-minute mark of the first quarter. Yeah. The Dockers 3-1-19, Sydney 1-1-7 here on Grandstand AFL.
Yeah, from D50, it has looked dangerous for Fremantle. I thought this whole first 10 or 12 minutes of this game where the space out the back, and if you get caught goal side or in front, we know Sydney's forwards are quick, and even Harmony, even Papley there looked pretty dangerous. And sure enough, he got out the back. I reckon that will be something Fremantle will have to certainly look after as this game unfolds. But yeah, great goal. Good finish.
Cats by 3 points. 26 gone in the first at the MCG. 3-4-22 to Carlton's 3-1-19.
Reed in the ruck for the Swans, opposed to Darcy. Bounce favours Darcy, slaps it forward, trying to get it to Brodie. Falls to Mills, though. He's tackled by Brodie. And the umpire to throw it up. Still in the middle of Perth Stadium. Darcy knocks it down. Brodie able to get it on the boot. Squeezes a kick out towards the wing. Florent marks for the Swans. Ollie Florent signed a 2-year extension a couple of weeks ago. Kicks laterally to Goulden. Goulden, short kick, a bad one. Misses Parker. Falls there for Sarong. He gives it off to Wakers, to Mundy. He got a little push in the back. He'll get a free kick. His kick was a turnover, but it was because of the push in the back, so Mundy to have it on the wing for the Dockers. Shaggy blonde locks. He chips it over the top to Brodie. High half forward for Fremantle. Lob leads to the pocket. That's where Brodie heads, and a good kick. And Lob, he juggles it and marks just in the field of play. 45 metres out the mark, right on the boundary line.
Yeah, didn't feel the lane there, Sydney, defensively. Or didn't get back far enough there, Goulden. But yeah, well-weighted kick.
This would take something. Couple of deep breaths. Lob stutters in. Starts it right, brings it back. It's a pretty good effort. It's just missing.
Good effort.
To the right-hand side. A minor score. Fremantle 3-2-20. Sydney 1-1-7. 21 minutes and change into the opening stanza.
Pause for a moment. Lloyd assesses the option. Doesn't like anything particularly in front of him. Goes on a bit of a run and then kicks towards the southern wing. Front position was Darcy against the Marty. Brought it to ground. Taken though by Mills of the Swans. Kicks towards the southern wing. Wanted Papley. Walker gives away the free kick. Infringing on Papley. Papley will have it on the logo. Fox runs towards him. That's ignored. Papley has also been to the hairdresser this week. Short back and sides. Kicks into the right forward pocket. Very short sides. Marty flew. Couldn't mark. Darcy popped it up. Cleverly slapped down there by Ryan. To Aish. On in turn to Walker. Hand passes to Collier. Fremantle are away. Down the southern wing. Collier kicks long. He wants Frederick. Up against Rampy. Rampy brings it to the ground. Frederick tries again. Socket inside forward 50. Out to it. Lob, no. Decides to Shepherd. Frederick gathers and then crashes into both Lob and Rampy, who are going the other way. Good aggressive play by everyone involved. And it's a throw-in. 25 out from Freo's goal in the left forward pocket. They lead by 13 points. 23 gone in the first.
Fremantle kicked the first three. Sydney with the last goal. Forward 50 stoppage for the Dockers. Darcy lays it down back towards the boundary. Aish goes after it. Mundy's there too. Fox smothers his handball out of play. A throw-in.
It's a better look by Fremantle now. Luke Ryan in as the gatekeeper. Just protecting their back half so nothing gets out the back.
30 metres around from the Dockers attacking goal. The umpire spins it back in. Darcy and Hickey slap down in front of them. Hickey goes and gets it. His handball stolen by Sarong. He's tackled to ground by Mills. And a ball up Close to the boundary line, 25 metres around from the Dockers goal. Caleb Sarong grew up in country Victoria, but supported the Swans as a kid.
A restart. It's not coming out of there. That was straight down the throat. Docker was able to gather. It was set upon by two Swans. It was Collier. When he had it, just monstered. Throwing up. Darcy off the fingertips, down to Sarong. Back to Brodie. Centres the football. Trying to get out to it was Banfield. Couldn't mark against Blakey. Got a hand pass to ground. Schultz is there. Spun one way. Hand pass straight back into traffic. Rampy had it. He's tackled. Ball up will be the call at full forward. Great aggressive play by both sets of players out there. Desperate for the football, the Dockers and the Swans. Throwing up Darcy and Hickey. Darcy won it down. Mills gathers. Tackled by Sarong. Ball jarred free off 5. Just burrowing his way through. Knocked Rowbottom out of the way and gave away the free kick. Dockers fans don't like it, which won't come as a surprise to anyone. Back towards fullback to Blakey, who then sends it to Fox, who marks in the left back pocket. At the MCG, it's quarter time, and Carlton have hit the front. The Blues lead by 3 over the Cats.
Short kick from Fox to Florent. He'll kick long towards the wing. Hickey and lob. Hickey does well, out bodies lob and takes the mark. Tom Hickey at his 4th club in the Sydney Swans. Backward of the wing, goes long towards Amati, crashes the pack through the hands of Clark. Loose footy, onto it there, Walker for the Dockers. Shows his clean pair of heels. Handball to Mundy, handball to Clark. Has to back feed a handball back to Ryan, who chips it short. And he's able to find the re-signed Collier. Fremantle in possession on the broadcast wing. Collier is going to go short for Taberner. Just finds him in the field of play. 13 points, Fremantle's advantage. 25 minutes into the first term. Taberner on the wing. Likes the short lead from the Brownlow medal favourite Brayshaw. Brayshaw accepts it.
First touch.
Just forward of the wing. Runs around and drives it long. Towards full forward. Darcy is there. So too Tom McCartan. No mark taken. Banfield. Zigs. Zags. Goes with the handball back to Akers. Tries to break a tackle. Can't quite get free of it. Just gets a handball away. Now Brodie goes in for the Dockers. Sarong too. Right on the paint of their attacking 50. They're over the top of it. The umpire circles. And he'll come in and ball it up. Fremantle by 13 points. 26 minutes into the first.
Throwing up. Darcy tapped it over his shoulder. Walters is there, broke a tackle, kicks towards goal. It'll bounce first in the right forward pocket. Blakey meets it for Sydney. Hand pass is a dangerous one. McInerney won it down. Mills grubbers it beyond defensive 50. Only as far as Ryan, tackled by Heaney. Somehow got a kick away. Came out towards Akers, can't really gather. Parker decides to deal with it. Kicks towards Logue. Couldn't mark, just forward of the wing. Moved it by Handy Young. Fremantle with another chance. It comes to Chapman. He'll thump it towards full forward. Swans got hands to it in that pack. Spills to ground. Fox looks to soccer it out of danger. Florent can't pick it up first time. Darcy applied the pressure. It came to Banfield. Centres the kick down the throat, though, of Dylan Stevens, who marks it full back for the Sydney Swans. Breathtaking stuff. But still Fremantle lead 3-2-20 to Sydney 1-1-7. 27 gone in the first.
Stevens with a long left leg, and Goulden is able to mark at left half back for the Swans. 13 points. Fremantle's lead.
Just take territory now.
Errol Goulden, this prodigious young talent for the Swans, actually played in the same junior side as John Longmire's son. So he's watched him play all of his juniors, now coaches him. He goes back to Rampy, who moves it on to Lloyd. Lloyd switches it to the right back pocket and Tom McCartan. He'll kick long towards the wing. H gets involved there. It spills to Chapman. Dockers back the other way. Collier slips over, has time to recover, picks it up. Under pressure from a Heaney tackle. He gets a handball away, out of play. And we'll get a throw in between the wing and left half forward for the Dockers.
Pretty wet underfoot.
I feel like the pressure's up too. Very fumbly. The players, maybe a little bit of dew as well on the ball. 13 points, Freo's lead.
Spun back in and over the arms of both rucks. Hickey at the back. Might have got a touch on it. H is able to gather. Kicks back inside the attacking 50. Swans will repel through Warner. Sends it into the middle of the ground. looking to try to get Papley. Couldn't mark. Comes off hands, down towards Cox of the Dockers. Goes back to Ryan, who measures the kick to Chapman. Back in the team this week, Chapman. First game since round 11, as Ben said earlier. It's a dangerous kick, but it's precise to Brayshaw, who marks. The ball knocked out of his hands. They wanted 50, the Dockers fans. He goes back and plays on by hand, running by Ryan. Sends it inside forward 50, punched over the boundary line. Paddy McCartan, strong fist to the football, sees it out for a throw-in. 35 out from Freo's attacking goal in the right forward pocket. They're up by 13, the Dockers, closing stages first term.
Darcy and Hickey again. Darcy with the tap down to Walters, who'll snap from 40. It'll fall short. Taberner in front. Taberner marks. 15 out, 45-degree angle to the right-hand side. And for the left footer, he can either go the drop punt or the left foot banana.
I was about to say, Sydney done well just to stem the flow for about a 10-minute period.
So the kick will be after the siren.
John Longmire won't be happy with this late one.
He was goalless last week, Matty Taberner. And this would hurt for the Swans. Comes in, drop punt, misses. Inexcusable, really, for Fremantle. They let the Swans off the hook on the quarter-time siren. 3-3-21 the Dockers. Sydney 1-1-7. It could have been worse if you're a fan of the red and white.
It should have been. That's a bad miss from Matt Taberner. 3-3-21, as Ben said, to 1-1-7. Fremantle lead at quarter time. The goal kickers, Lobb, Banfield and Mundy. While for Sydney, their solitary goal, probably the goal of the night so far, off the boot of Joel Amati from the right forward pocket. Just repeating that other game underway at the MCG. Quarter time last we checked, they just got into the second quarter, and the Blues lead the Cats by 3 points, 4-1-25 to 3-4-22. Earlier today, North by 4 points over Richmond. And we'll hear from Jack Siebel at half-time after the Roos ended a 14-game losing streak. Brisbane beat GWS by 40 and Collingwood by 5 points over Adelaide. Wherever you're listening, around the great state of WA and New South Wales on ABC Radio, News Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
If you love sport, we've got the podcast for you. ABC Sport Daily, it's your daily sports conversation.
West Coast has had a horror season. They're going to finish bottom 2 or 3 on the ladder.
There's some kind of romance about it, isn't it? The idea of just being the fastest man or woman.
And how many times does this have to happen before we accept that, there is something different? There's just something different up there, and it's something that I'm sad to say New South Wales just doesn't have.
ABC Sport Daily. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Ready to hit the road and go exploring? Backroads is back. From Katherine in the top end to WA. From the New South Wales Riverina and Tassie's King Island to way out back. Join me, Heather Hewitt, and some of my fellow guest explorers for a journey to some of this country's most remote towns, full of surprising and memorable characters.
All new Backroads. New adventures Monday nights on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Goes inside 50 for the Dockers. Walters thought he might have been held. Fife picks it up, gives it off to Lobb, and he snaps on goal and kicks the first. It's going to be 50 against Buddy Franklin as well. Chapman goes short and Mundy bobs up out of a sprinkler head. No Swans near him. He's taken the mark 45 metres out. The slightest of angles. Boot to ball from just inside 50. And age just won't weary him. Another goal for Mundy. 2 to start for the Dockers.
Papley battling away against Walker. Then Shepherd's allows Heaney to gather. Sends it inside forward 50. Clever. The bounce from Marty was beautiful. He gathers and snaps in the right forward pocket. He gives Sydney their first.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
At Perth Stadium, Fremantle lead the Swans 3-3-21 to Sydney 1-1-7. Before we hear from our experts, Akash Fodadar, what have you got for us downstairs?
Hey, Clint. Yeah, just noticed that Rory Lobb not out there at the moment during the quarter-time huddle. Went straight down to the rooms at the break. I assume to have that shoulder checked out.
On you a cash. Do you want to get in touch with us? 0437 774 774. 0437 774 774. G'day to Mick in Albany. Sends the text. Listening in. Always good to have your company, no matter where you are. Around either New South Wales or WA. Let us know where you're listening in and what you've made of the game so far. What have you made of the game so far? Shane Woden, Cara Antonio on Grandstand AFL.
Well, it's a hot contest, isn't it? Both sides coming out, build their game around pressure, and for me, Fremantle were just able to make the most of their opportunities. I mean, with 5 marks inside forward 50, Sydney haven't been able to clunk one yet, and that's been the difference for me. They've been a little bit more patient delivering ball, and their method going inside forward 50. They're up in contested ball, clearances, and they've had 7 tackles inside forward 50, which they pride themselves on. So, but Sydney look dangerous with ball in hand. I like their fast ball movement. They're attacking the corridor at all costs, and it's coming off. I mean, we saw the one out the back, and they were lucky on a couple because Papley, two Freo, I don't know if you saw it, two Freo defenders went up and Papley just ran towards goal, and luckily Fremantle were able to win that ball, otherwise it was a certain goal. So the danger there, I can see the game being a really bit of an arm wrestle for mine. What have you made of it?
Well, they jumped out of the blocks, Freo, and then I thought Sydney just wrestled it back a little bit of momentum there, and it just sort of shifted a little bit. Fremantle certainly on top. One field position through clearance. Sean Darcy's had a big save from hit-outs. He's got bagels at the moment from a possession count. Laid a couple of tackles, but 15 hit-outs. They're +8 in first possession and +7 in clearance. So from a stoppage point of view, they've scored 2 goals from stoppage, and at that moment I reckon they're getting belted around the ball, Sydney, which they pride themselves. They out-muscled Western Bulldogs last week, but certainly Fremantle are on top there, being able to get bigger bodies in there, get first use and get it forward and start winning field position.
Yeah, some of those numbers, the clearances 13-4 in the first term. Contested possessions, Fremantle +8. Tackles 22-19 the way of the Swans. As Cara mentioned, 5 marks inside 50 for Fremantle to 0. For Sydney, leading ball winners, Will Brodie. He's been collecting them all year. He's had 9. Luke Ryan with 8. Florent with 8. Lloyd with 7 for the Swans.
Fife's in the middle to start. Alongside Brayshaw and Mundy for the Dockers. Hapley, Parker, Warner there for the Swans. It's Hickey against Darcy, and it's Hickey that palms it down. Warner out after it. Brayshaw right with him, though. He's able to get a kick away here, Warner. Sends it towards right half forward. Beautifully manufactured kick. It's marked by Haywood. He's probably 55 from goal. Chapman stands on the mark. He sends it into the right forward pocket. Long kick. Big fly, Heaney. He went early. Dockers were able to thump it over the boundary line. It was Cox who got there and sees it, let's say no more than about 3 to 4 metres to the right of the right-hand behind post. It'll be put back into play.
Very lucky for her. Didn't want to take Heaney's body.
Spun back in. Hickey from behind tapped it down. Went well, though, by Akers. Kicked around the body. Schultz couldn't quite mark. Ripped out of his grasp there by Mills. Kicks back towards full forward. Flying then Ryan. Got a hand on it. Spilled down to Cox. On dangerous hand pass. Back towards Jordan Clark. Tackled by Franklin. Ball jarred free. It's still an opportunity to pick it up from Haywood. Couldn't quite do so. Mundy. Hand passes back to Chapman. Fremantle should clear. Beyond defensive 50 from H to Walters. Now they're away to Fife, who takes a bounce at right half back.
Has Frederick on. Gives him the handball. Frederick. Handball's out in front of himself. He was looking to do the KB, but it went over the boundary line. And we'll get a throw in. Almost. Fremantle on the break. Throw in on the southern wing. Darcy and Hickey. Hickey wins it down straight to Warner. Squeezes a kick forward for the Swans. Walker outpoints Papley. Fends him off. Might have been a high fend off. It was. He gives away the free kick. Doesn't return the ball on the full, but the umpire lets him get away with it. Free kick to Papley, just forward of the wing. Short kick to McInerney. Looks inside 50. Franklin right there with him, Logue. Logue spoils it away, halves the contest, and out of play it goes to the cheers of the Fremantle faithful.
It's going to be a good battle tonight. I can already feel it. Logue's wearing him like a glove. but we know what Franklin is like. He can turn a game on his head.
Logan Lance, head to head. Darcy palms it down. Parker steals it for the Swans, floats it to full forward. Heaney has a lot of it, and he'll be paid the mark or the free kick. Take your pick. The mark set 30 metres out, slight angle to the left of centre.
Better by Sydney. Parker through the stoppage. Big body. Get the ball moving forward, and good forward play in front. Able to react on his toes. Draw the free kick.
Isaac Heaney, he likes playing against the Dockers. 5 goals in their last meeting that earned him the 3 Brownlow medal votes. For the first of the second term, Heaney comes in and hits the post. Slaps his hands together in frustration. Sydney 1-8, Fremantle 3-3-21, a 13-point advantage 3 minutes into the second term.
Blues now lead by just 2 points at the MCG over the Cats. 9 minutes gone into the second term there. Long kick by Fremantle beyond defensive, 50 towards left half back. Parker had it taken high by Fife, who protests his innocence.
Can't do that, Dane Rampy. Got to get out.
Dane Rampy was lurking just in front of Fife, who quite rightly pointed it out. That's what Shane was talking about. He does get out of there, Rampy, as Parker puts it into the right forward pocket. And up and marking Reid in front position. That one really went to him, and he was able to drag in the footy, marking at the highest point he could. Arms fully outstretched, goes back and will have his shot at goal. He'll be kicking from about a 45-degree angle from about 40 out.
Just read it better than anyone else and came from the side. Took it at its highest point, but no one laid a finger on him. No body contact or anything.
30-year-old Sam Reid boots across the 50. Oh, that's an awful kick out to the right. It has only just snuck in for a minor score. Never looked like troubling the major opening. So 2 disappointing efforts to begin from the Swans. They're 1-3-9, Fremantle 3-3-21. 4.5 gone in the second quarter on Grandstand AFL, ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Luke Ryan kicks up the middle. Darcy in good position. He goes up. Late spoil comes from Hickey. Loose footy. Gathered there for the Swans by Florent. Floats it inside 50. Hayward goes up and marks.
Trying to get the aerial game going, Sydney inside forward 50. Can't get out their back half, Fremantle, at the moment, can they? They get it to ground really here and re-entry. And then back in. Yeah, just poor in the contest there, Chapman. Just had a swing at the ball, didn't take body.
So the mark 40 metres out, 30-degree angle to the right-hand side. Will Hayward comes in and misses right.
Getting some looks.
And on the back of that miss, it's a little bit like the Spoonerism. He's more like Hill Wayward. 11 points, Fremantle's advantage, 5 minutes into this second term.
Fremantle, the kick in beyond defensive 50. Taberner got hands to it, down to 5 on the Mundy. Tackled by Warner, that's holding the ball. Mundy saying he got a hand pass away. I'm sure he did. Warner stabs it quickly. Leading out, Clark marks for the Swans. Hands it off to Goulden. He's at right half forward. Will kick long towards full forward. He wants Reid. Reid up against Cox. Cox got a fist to it. Spills out though to Hayward. Hand pass inboard to Heaney in the left forward pocket. Sweeps the hand pass backward. Lloyd has it. 52 from goal. Steps around one Docker. Then a second. Then a third. Oh, he made them look like traffic cones. Kicks towards full forward. Going back with the flight. Darcy can't mark. Papley at the drop. In the goal square. Kicks the goal.
Free kick.
Oh, not quite. It is a free kick indeed. Darcy. Reid coming in from the side.
Over the shoulder.
Yep, get him there. I still reckon it's a little bit tough, though, in a marking contest. Keen to get both your thoughts on that. Is a moment as Fremantle bring it beyond defensive 50. It's at left half back. Brayshaw taps it out to Schultz.
Now Fremantle with it through Akers. Handball away to Clark. Handball to Schultz. Clever little check side on the right around the boundary. It finds Brayshaw. So the Dockers with it. Just backward of halfway on the wing. Brayshaw working his way into the game after a slow start. Kicks towards Taberner. There was a shepherd, an illegal shepherd coming from a Carlton Paddy on that occasion, and Taberner will get the free kick. Sydney making the early running in the opening 7 minutes of this second term, but yet to kick a goal. Kavanagh comes infield to Brayshaw. As I said, he's starting to get busy.
Six inside 50s to zip this quarter.
Kick short to Young, who's just come off the bench.
Haven't capitalised.
Usually a surgeon with this left boot. Hayden Young. One of the key creators for the Dockers. This time he just goes long towards a dangerous sort of spot. 3 go up, no mark taken. Loose footy. 5 shoves over Paddy McCartan. And we'll get a ball up. 35 metres out from the attacking goal for Freo. They lead by 11.
Throwing up. Darcy tapped it down straight to Schultz. Roving. Kicks around the body. Marked by Taberner. At left ball forward, just outside the attacking goal square. He wheels around, snaps and goes. Whereas Sydney have had a couple of looks, the Dockers, they take their chance when they go forward. Their 4th of the night. And he makes amends for the miss right on quarter time. Fremantle 4-3-27, Sydney 1-4-10. We've travelled 8.5 in the second term on Grandstand AFL at Perth Stadium. Our experts Shane Woden and Cara Antonio.
Almost a bit of a set play there from Sean Darcy in the ruck. Out the back of the stoppage to space, and Lockie Schultz was onto it. Taberner just playing in front and reap the rewards there out of the goal square.
It's providing a headache, Sean Darcy, around stoppages at the moment. Another great hit out to advantage. Use the outside lane. Running small forwards, good connection. And a forward playing in front again.
Bounce back in the middle. Reid wins the tap, lays it straight down to Warner, gives it off to Mills, kicks across his body towards half forward for Sydney. Chapman goes up, juggles the mark. Takes it at centre half back for the purple. Chapman back in the team. Last played in round 11, which was the win against Melbourne. He goes short to Mundy. Kicks a good one. Mundy wants to bite off the kick into the middle. Spots Brayshaw, gives it off to Brodie. Running by, looks to the pocket. Darcy's in good position. Has a lot of it, doesn't bring it down. Banfield off to Schultz, in the pocket. Steps around one, back to Banfield. Left foot check side. Brilliant goal from Freo. All clear. The umpire says it's a goal. And Fremantle have 2 in a couple of minutes. Banfield's got a couple. Sydney waste their chances. Fremantle don't. They're 5-3-33. Sydney 1-4-10. It's out to 23 points. 10 into the second. Shane Woden, Cara Antonio.
I love the ball movement by Fremantle. Chapman just patient, composed, waited for Mundy to pop up, and then David Mundy by leg stayed in the corridor. Great kick and great overlap by Will Brodie, which provides the inside 50 opportunity. And Lockie Schultz again, just composed, didn't panic, waited for his runner. Good team footy from Fremantle. That's a good finish.
Oh, he is the dangerous Bailey Banfield.
He can pop up for a couple, can't he?
Certainly is this year as Lobb wins it down, but it's straight to Warner of the Swans. Hand pass to Mills, running by Florent, receives it, takes a bounce, and he burns away. And a second, still going, shoots towards goal. He's missed to the left. Wow, it was everything except for 6 points, a minor score. 1-5-11 Sydney. They have wasted some chances. 5-3-33 is Fremantle's score. 12 minutes gone in the second.
Walker receives the kick in, now called to play on. He'll go long towards Aish. Blakey goes up, doesn't drag it down. Aish picks it up off the deck, tackled by Blakey. Ball jars free. Loose footy on top of them. Clark there for the Swans. And Schultz at the bottom of the pack. We'll go again. A ball up. Umpire puts it aloft at right half forward here for the Swans. Mills gives it out to McInerney. Snaps on his left, inside 50. Bouncing ball, Buddy's there. Logue there with him. It spits out towards Franklin. Keeps it in. Great kick back towards Warner. No, over his head. and the Dockers win it through Walters. He gives it to Brodie, a kick to the southern wing.
He wants Banfield battling away against Rampy. Rampy wins it to ground. Banfield gave him a little nudge. He's able to dive on top of it, Rampy, though. Banfield slapped it out. He wanted to try Frederick. Couldn't quite get to it. Still there to be won. Banfield looking and lurking. Ball's been kept in. Group of about 6. Fremantle fans love what they saw from that, and the assistance of Collier diving in too. Ball up, just shy of right half forward for Fremantle. Lobb gets there up against Reid. Lobb won it down for Fremantle to Sarong, to Jordan Clark, back to Lobb. Beg your pardon, back to Sarong. Kick towards right half forward. Fox got there, knocked it down. Taking it on then was Stevens. Sees it over the boundary line. It's going to be deliberate. Probably the right call too. No desire to keep it in play. Banfield from right half forward comes towards Taberner, comes out, can't mark. Down towards Walters, who snaps but misses. Missing to the right-hand side, a minor score from right full forward. 5-4-34 Freo, 1-5-11 Sydney, 13 gone in the second. Checking at the MCG, and it's the Cats by 10 over the Blues. 18 gone in the second there.
Blakey stabs it to the pocket. Mark taken by Florent. Florent takes on Frederick on the mark. Gets around him. Now a kick long. Forward of the wing. Hayward in good position. Goes up. Young comes through with the fist for the Dockers. Close to the boundary line. Akers wins it for the Purple. Young's tackled out. Goulden carries him out of throw-in on the wing.
Gavin asked this question: how can commentators keep talking about tackle counts? If you have too many tackles, it means you haven't got the football.
It's Malcolm Blight's theory.
Correct.
Malcolm Blight's theory was that tackling's overrated. The ruckman wins it to the rover, kicks it to the full forward. He goes back and kicks the goal. Why do you need to tackle?
If only.
If only. Umpire throws it back in. Little underhand tap there from Hickey. Mills soccers it inside 50 for the Swans. Bouncing ball. Cox onto it for the Dockers. Handball to right. Slips over and Marty gets him. And he's taken him high. So a free kick going to Ryan. Explain it. Cara, Shane, tackle counts. It really speaks to your intent, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
You don't have
Absolutely.
That's why we speak about it.
There's a lot of technical aspect to it, but yeah.
It's an effort-based stat.
Yeah, you haven't got the football, you can at least battle away by getting tackles. It doesn't require skill, it requires effort. Kick down the line, 5 chases it towards the boundary, but
you've got to get it back off the oppo. St Kilda couldn't do that last night.
They had 12 and a half.
Yep, so
St Kilda.
That's how important tackling is.
The AFL average is 54 per game.
There was something like a record today as well in the Adelaide Collingwood game quarter time.
They had 130, didn't they, Collingwood?
Yep.
In the wet.
That is amazing. Yeah. Lob front position against Hickey. Won it down, but Goulden gathers for the Swans. Hand pass to no one in particular. Spins around. Blakey picked it up. They'll go across half back. Fox to McInerney. Goes across again. Switch of play. It was dangerous. Frederick was lurking, but Stevens able to mark. He'll play on. Moves it towards Warner. Takes a bounce. Runs down the outer wing, though. The hand pass intercepted by Fife for Fremantle to Frederick on the logo. Southern wing. Not a great hand pass to Young. Tapped it to his own advantage. Hand pass to the centre circles. It came to Brodie, then to Jordan Clark. Swept the hand pass towards the wing. Oh, they missed it first time. Akers can track it back and gather. Hand pass to Jordan Clark. He's got Dockers all wanting it across half back. They can start again with a kick back to Walker, who marks.
So Walker, a low ball out towards Collier. It doesn't quite get there. Papley intercepts. He marks on the logo for the Swans. Comes infield to Parker, who gives it off to the Lizard. Running by Blakey to Warner. Forward handball. Now in attacking 50. Clark's kick ricochets off a Docker. Lands in the lap of Collier. The kick's casually to Banfield at centre-half back for the Dockers.
Banfield thumps it long to the southern wing, and that's a great mark. Sarong up against Papley. Sarong quickly on the bounce, gets a kick to Taberner. Goes back by hand. This is Collier on his own Frederick. He couldn't find him. Stretches behind him. Hickey's there to mop up for the Swans. A chance to clear from Warner. Kicks into the middle of the ground. Franklin out. Juggled it, able to mark it despite the attention of Logue. He goes to ground, but he's got the footy. Where's he looking? Towards left half forward. Spears the path onto the chest. But teammate who then kicks inside forward 50, and it's marked inside the right forward pocket by Goulden. The pass from Hayward a moment ago at left half forward, and Goulden now can have a shot from, I'd say, just inside 50. He'll start almost in line with the right hand behind post.
Couple of errors there, a few turnovers. Goulden got it the other side of Blake Acres. There's a well way to kick inside 50.
Errol Goulden, 10 goals, 4 for the season. The 19-year-old on his way. The Swans need a goal, and he converts.
Big.
After a number of poor misses, Sydney hit the scoreboard. 2-5-17. Lovely finish from Errol Goulden. The Dockers remain, though, in control. They're 4-5-34. 17 and a half gone in the second term. That is here at Perth Stadium. Across at the MCG, the Cats back out to an 11-point lead over the Blues. 6-6-42 to Carlton, 5-1-31.
They needed that one, Sydney. They'd been peppering, they'd had their opportunities, especially early in this second quarter, but again, attacking the corridor. Big contested mark from Franklin, and then it opens the entire front half of the ground up for Sydney. Really nice finish as well from Gould. Excellent kick.
Flush that. Goal post height from 50.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful kick of the footy.
Beautiful kick. Lefty.
Errol, not an overly common name these days, as Mills gets the kick out of the middle there for the Swans. They go forward again. Free kick. It's going to come back.
You'd do anything to be like him, though.
I would. I was getting there slowly, Clint.
Sorry, stole your dad joke. What's going on?
Oh, Errol. As Hayward, pinpoint onto the chest of McInerney, stabs it inside 50, and Mills claims it. 45 metres out, a 30-degree angle to the right-hand side.
Just starting to influence a little bit, Mills. Aussie crawl, old Errol.
Yeah. Mills with the shot on goal. He starts it right. He's not bringing it back.
How good's Aussie crawl?
They're a cracking band.
That's a guarantee to come out at some stage of the night by the average cover band.
Yeah.
I remember the ad with the sheep that was called Errol for Australian Wool. That was quite good as well.
16 points for ours advantage.
This is Ryan beyond defensive 50 for Fremantle. Long kick towards left half back. Cox marks. Pauses. Nothing immediately in front of him. Dangerous kick across half back. He wanted Young. It's spoiled down by the Swans here. I'll get it again through Chapman. Parker was waiting. Brodie had to attack it. Spilled out. Parker had another go at it. Was able to work it onto a teammate in Rowbottom towards right half forward. It comes now to Fox, who marks. Too far out to score himself. Probably 65 from goal. He elects to move it short. Marked there by Clark. 51 from goal. Still at right half forward. He'll put it towards the top of the goal square. They come from everywhere. Amati up, spilled down. Oh, here is Errol again. He misses, though, this time to the right-hand side. Slaps the hands in frustration. They've had some chances, though. 2-7-19 Sydney. 5-4-34. So 9 scoring shots apiece. That's the Dockers in the front. 20 points, 20 minutes gone, rather, in the second quarter.
We've had some close games between these two sides at this venue as Ryan goes long with the kick in, looking for lob. Hickey and Darcy there too. It comes out the back. Attacking at Fox, doing really well. He's onto the loose footy for Sydney. Handball away to Lloyd. Bouncing ball close to the boundary line. He's happy to be tackled out under the Walters tackle. So I'll throw in just forward of halfway for Fremantle. Right beneath the ABC commentary box here on Grandstand AFL. Great to have you with us here on our Saturday night at the footy and yours. As Darcy swats it back boundary side. Mundy onto it. Left foot snap inside 50. Down there is lob, loose footy. Getting involved is Fox. So too Paddy McCartan. And we'll get a ball up just inside the boundary line, just inside the 50 for the Dockers. They lead by 15. 21 minutes into this second term.
Thrown aloft. Comes down off hands towards Akers. Centres the football, attacking it. Banfield won it to ground. Walters goes crashing in. Banfield looks to knock it forward. Rowbottom decides safety first. Rushes it through for a minor score. 5-5-35 Fremantle, 2-7-19 the Swans as they go into attack into the left back pocket.
I'll tell you what is a unique thing that the Sydney Swans do. Tom Harley, we know his footballing pedigree, a dual premiership captain with the Cats, but as the CEO of the club, down on the bench with the headset on, alongside the senior coach, that is unique. Long kick to the wing for the Swans. Aish picks it up, handball towards a teammate there in Ryan. He carries it out, a throw in on the wing.
Genuine footy brain.
Yep.
Could only be.
He's spoken about it before that he's had to fill in for various people.
Yep.
I'd rather the CEO lurking in the corporate boxes.
I'm sure a lot of CEOs like that too. Darcy takes it out of the ruck, snaps it inside 50 for Freo. No mark taken. Banfield tracks after the loose footy, coming across, trying to help out Papley. Plays for a free kick. Banfield picks it up, snaps into the pocket. Bouncing ball. Rampy and Walters holding free kick. Walters the offending party. Rampy to have it. Left back pocket for the Swans. 16 points the Dockers lead. Almost 23 minutes played in the second.
So far, Mills has had it 13 times. Warner 12. Ryan, Brodie 12 apiece. That's for the Dockers. The Swans have it through Heaney at left half back. Pauses for a moment. Nothing immediately on offer short, so he'll kick long. Big pack forms at left half forward. Good mark, Reid again floating in from the side. Takes the mark in front. Sends it in the direction of Franklin against Logue. Logue's done enough to work him out from underneath the football. And then Young happy to fumble it over the boundary line for a throw-in. 35 out from Sydney's attacking goal. They're heading to the right of our broadcast position. The city end of the ground in this, the second term. Akash Fodadar is downstairs.
Michael Walters has just come off the ground looking a little bit sore. He had his legs taken out in a contest in the forward 50 about a minute ago. So it'll be interesting to see what the work he does with the Doctors here. Hickey
wins the tap down, but Walker onto it for the Dockers. Young tackled out, having received the handball. Another throw in the left forward pocket.
Thought he may have been unlucky there, Walters, not to get that free kick.
It's a hard one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think the Sydney defender was already on the ground, yeah.
Freo by 16 points. Darcy and Hickey. Darcy smashes it out of the defensive 50. Bouncing ball close to the boundary line. Going after it there quickly. Stevens trying to get it on the boot. Not sure if he did in the field of play or whether his kick is out of bounds on the full. It was already out. So I'll throw in just outside the attacking 50 for the Swans. Inside 50s in this term. Overall, they're 24-23 the way of the Swans. 15-7 in this second term.
Darcy wins it down. Swans try to work it forward. Hickey couldn't quite get there. Chapman could. Met it for the Dockers and sends it out to Banfield, who marks about a metre in from the boundary, just shy of centre wing, southern side of the ground. Goes down the line to Collier. Ugly kick, but it worked out okay. Sarong having to move to take the mark. Gives it on to Banfield. He'll thump it long towards full forward. He wants lob. Couldn't take the mark. Was he infringed? No. Ball hit the deck. Comes out the side. Blakey has it. Tackled by Lob again. He takes him to ground. Umpire says we'll ball it up at right full forward for Freo. Not too far away from half-time. Throwing up, Hickey and Darcy. Hickey won it down, straight down the throat, though, of Aish, who's tackled by Rampy. Ball up again, the decision. Fremantle were, a short time ago, leading the hit-outs to advantage 9-3. Most of that the work of Sean Darcy, who has been influential. He wins this again and goes in the direction of it. Fife tried to get it, couldn't. Tom McCartan with a clearing kick away beyond defensive 50. Amadi has it, and he's tackled by Ryan to ground. Ball spilled out, and then it's locked in, so no trouble there. It's going to be a ball up left half back for the Sydney Swans, who trail on the scoreboard by 16 points, 26 gone in the second.
Darcy, the tap down, but McInerney for the Swans. He's gang tackled by Brayshaw and Fife. And another ball up just inside the attacking 50 for Freo. Umpire puts it up really quickly. Darcy hooks it down, Florent onto it, handball to McInerney, backtracking, goes back to Tom McCartan. He'll kick beyond defensive 50. Close to the line, Clark goes up, tries to fist it away, he misses it in the end, or it grazes his knuckles, and out of play for a throw-in. Similar contact to maybe that holding the ball call last week when he was run down. 16 points, Fremantle's advantage, 26.5 into the second.
Sydney are able to get the ball away through Gordon, kicking towards left half forward. Logue stops Franklin marking it, goes back, gathers it again for Fremantle. He's done well so far tonight. Always a tough task. Found Sarong, who turns it over. Straight down the throat of Tom McCartan. A little bit of a run. Stabs it into the chest of Mills, hands it off to Florent. Florent will kick inside forward 50. Reid has 2 to beat. Can't mark it. Spills down to Walker for the Dockers. Walker to Walters. Pops it up into the air and running onto it, Collier, who marks at left half back for Fremantle. He pauses. Got congested in front of him all of a sudden, so he moves it short to Walters again. And Sonny will have it at left half back. Michael Walters looks to come down the line. Wanted Banfield. Florent got in front of him. Was able to spoil it to ground. Collier has 4 Swans to beat. Can't do so. Gordon stole it away from him. Gave it back towards Stevens. Kicked Sydney to right half forward, but well read by Ryan. He got in front of Clark and he takes the defensive mark for Fremantle and moves it short to Walters, who can't quite get there and take the mark, and then turns it over, finding Warner just forward of centre wing commentary side of the ground.
So Chad Warner just assesses for now. Now he'll look long inside 50. A big packle form. Reid goes up. So too Cox. No mark taken. Parker at the fall of the ball. Comes down quickly towards Clark. Snaps on goal for the Swans. And it'll bounce through for a minor score. Sydney now 2-8. 2-8-20. Fremantle 5-5-35. Closing in on half-time out west on a Saturday night in Perth. Fremantle and the Swans.
It is half-time at the MCG. The Cats lead by 17 over Carlton. Clearing kick by the Dockers beyond their defensive 50. Spills the way of Banfield. Was he taken high? He was. Fremantle happy to accept the advantage. Mundy on the run. Bounces it for Brayshaw to run onto. Clever. Alex the Soccer. Beautiful touch as well. It came to lob. Schultz on his own full forward. Great closing speed. McInerney, he couldn't get there. Schultz gathers and goals. Lockie Schultz. He kicks Fremantle 6th. You couldn't knock the effort of McInerney to try to spoil, but as soon as he couldn't get anything on the football, it was always going to be a Fremantle major. 6-5-41. That's Fremantle. Sydney 2-8-20 as we head towards the half-hour mark of the second quarter.
Just smart from Brayshaw there to get a toe poke with his left. Rory lob, the biggest hospital ball I've ever seen to Schultz, but he kept his feet. Was able to bring the ball to ground and sold some candy as well in the meantime, kicking his first for the evening.
It did float a long way, didn't it?
Freo fans, like Bon Jovi, you're halfway there. He's out of the middle. Mills kicks inside 50. Franklin juggles it and completes it. 45 metres out on a 30-degree angle. And the big Budwa will have it just as he likes it, with all eyes on him.
Well, that was a 6-6-6 free kick in the centre. JR would not be happy with that. You've just gone down the other end and have a nice little lead going into half-time, and just allows a clear set of clearance from Sydney and to hit Buddy Franklin.
Can't have the Buddy arc after the siren. He comes in straight. Boot to ball from just inside 50. And the Buddy strut is up. He slots it for the Swans after the siren. And it's back to 15 points at the main break. 6-5-41 Fremantle. Sydney 3-8-26 here on Grandstand AFL.
So much to talk about from that quarter. So much to talk about from that first half. There's a little bit of chat between the two sets of players as they head to their respective tunnels. Nothing really untoward, but they did have to cross paths. Sydney will make their way down their race first. Could that be a telling blow right on the stroke of half-time, and the frustration for giving away the free kick for Fremantle's what led to it as well. Buddy Franklin took his chance. As Ben told you, it's a 15-point margin. So the goal kickers So far for Fremantle and for Sydney, having a look at them on the scoreboard, Banfield's got 2, Lobb with 1, Taberner, Schultz and Mundy. While for Sydney, they're 3 goals to Amati, Goulden and Franklin. Just another repeat score. It is still half-time at the MCG. The Cats, the ladder leaders, remain at this point in time on top of the ladder with a 17-point lead over Carlton, 7-6-48 to the Blues, who are 5-1-31. Fremantle and Sydney, the Dockers, they've got the advantage at the half, up by 15 points. What have you made of things? Shane Woden and Cara Antonio on Grandstand AFL.
Well, that was a complete role reversal from the first quarter, where I thought Sydney dominated the quarter but just couldn't capitalise on any opportunities. 2 goals, 7 for the quarter to 3-2, but again, flipped the lid on inside 50s. May have got a little bit of a speaking to by John at quarter time. Again, got on top around clearance, which again, like Fremantle did in the first quarter, just gives you field position, gives you territory, gets the ball played in your front half. And you could see in that first 15 minutes, they had a lot of repeat entries, Sydney, and they were able to get the ball in, squeeze it, lock it in, and play their style of footy. And which was completely what happened, what Fremantle did in the first quarter. So, again, just not able to capitalise on any opportunities they did when they went forward. And, lucky that Buddy kicked that last one just to keep him in close contact. So, arm wrestle, tale of 2 quarters at the moment, how I'm seeing it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit the nail on the head there, Wowie. They won the inside 50 count and overall now for the game, Sydney. The marks for me, they had 5 that quarter. There was 0 at quarter time, so they were able to find targets and as you said, give themselves opportunities to hit the scoreboard. But yeah, they'll be going into halftime a little bit disappointed with that 3 goals, 8, some gettable ones that they missed. They're winning centre clearances as well, especially that last one probably helped them with the 6-6-6 rule. So that'll be on review, no doubt, on Monday for Fremantle. But their ability to get on top inside in patches of that quarter, I was really impressed. Callum Mills has been outstanding. Luke Parker's hitting ball with intent and purpose and able to get some form of momentum going forward. So a bit of an arm wrestle this contest. I'm really excited to see what the second half has in store.
Yeah, this game's even. On their billy for Sydney, they created front half turnover in that first 5 or 10 minutes and they won plenty of their ball back. They just missed 3 or 4 set shots and I think they've scored 5 points from centre forward turnover. So again, just polish and finish and their game's back on.
Thoughts of Shane Woden and Cara Antonio. Akash Fodder has the answer for us. What was the free kick for, Akash?
Thanks, Clint. Yeah, Ryan Clark from Sydney was dumped behind the ball just as Lockie Schultz kicked that goal, and that's why the free kick was given to Sydney out of the middle. A couple of Sydney players went to the umpires and said, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I think they were hoping that the goal would be overturned or not given, but the umpires gave the free kick to Sydney out of the middle after Ryan Clark was dumped behind the ball.
Okay, thanks, Akash.
Well, apologies, it wasn't a 6-6-6 rule. Silly then. Undisciplined. Didn't need to happen.
I'll still be talking about Cara.
They will be.
That is absolutely true. Repeating half-time, Fremantle 6-5-41 to Sydney 3-8-26. One of the big shocks of the season. I know there's always a response when a coach is removed from their position, but North Melbourne weren't expected to beat Richmond today, and they've done so. And we'll hear from Jack Siebel very shortly here on Grandstand AFL. But first, let's pause here from Perth Stadium and get the latest from the ABC Newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has moved to reinstate emergency pandemic leave payments and some Medicare-funded telehealth consultations following a snap National Cabinet meeting this morning. The government's been under pressure to bring back the $750 lump sum payments, which ended 2 weeks ago and had been available to Australians with COVID who didn't have access to sick leave. A new temporary Medicare item will also be introduced covering long consultations with GPs to prescribe COVID-19 antivirals. Mr. Albanese says he's responded to the change in health circumstances.
That vulnerable people are looked after and that no one is faced with the unenviable choice of not being able to isolate properly without losing an income.
Meanwhile, the Australian Medical Association Vice President, Dr. Chris Moy, says a return to indoor mask mandates is the best way of slowing the rate of COVID-19 infections and taking pressure off of hospitals. Governments have shown a reluctance to reintroduce measures to control COVID. Dr. Moy says wearing masks has been proven to reduce the risk of catching the virus.
Things like mask mandate really should not be ruled out. They should be on the table. And the modelers are saying that pressing that button is what you need to do to actually slow this thing down as much, to minimise the number of people getting sick at the same time and getting serious disease at the same time, along with other things like the vaccines and the antivirals.
The New York City Medical Examiner's Office says former President Donald Trump's first wife, Ivana, died of blunt impact injuries to the torso. It added the death of the 73-year-old was accidental, with U.S. media reports saying it occurred after she fell down the stairs in her New York City apartment. Born in what was then Czechoslovakia, she married Mr. Trump in 1977 before divorcing 15 years later. Ivanka Trump said in an Instagram post she was heartbroken over the death of her mother. The White House says Russian officials have visited a base in central Iran at least twice in recent weeks to view weapons-capable drones Moscow is looking to acquire for its war in Ukraine. The administration's released the intelligence as President Joe Biden meets with regional leaders at a summit in the Middle East. The White House says Iran showcased the drones for Russian officials during visits that took place last month and yesterday. The administration's also released satellite images of drones being displayed at the base while a Russian delegation transport plane was on the ground. Officials in Mexico say they've captured one of the country's most wanted drug lords. Rafael Caro Quintero was detained in the Mexican state of Chihuahua. Here's the BBC's Will Grant.
Rafael Caro Quintero is one of the first and most notorious drug lords in Mexico. In 2013, after 28 years behind bars, a lower court in Mexico released Caro Quintero, much to the fury of the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration. Caro Quintero was still wanted in the US over the kidnapping, torture and murder of a DEA agent, and the agency offered a $20 million reward for information leading to his arrest. The US Attorney General said the US was deeply grateful to the Mexican authorities. The 71-year-old kingpin is now expected to be extradited to the United States.
Parramatta Rugby League star Mitchell Moses has described alleged death threats made against him, which are being investigated by police, as pretty scary. The NRL drastically tightened security measures for last night's game against the New Zealand Warriors at Parramatta after learning that the family of the Eels halfback received several threatening calls and text messages during the week. Moses was shepherded by members of the riot squad before and after the match, while spectators were subjected to more intense security checks, which included the use of handheld metal detectors. NRL CEO Andrew Abdo has told ABC Sport the league's taking the matter very seriously.
We have an integrity unit that has great relationships with both the clubs and, of course, the police. As soon as we got intelligence of this, we worked together with the New South Wales Police, with the stadiums, the club, and ensured that there was extra security and extra protection for a matter relating to Mitchell Moses.
America's Ches Reavie holds a 3-point lead after the second round of the PGA Barracuda Championships. The 40-year-old finished off with a bogey-free round featuring 7 birdies and an eagle, putting him 28 points in the Stableford scoring competition. Mark Hubbard is tied for second place with 25 points, along with the only non-American in the top 5, Sweden's Henrik Norlander. Australia's Cam Davis is tied for 11th spot on 16 points. You're now up to date with the very latest from ABC News.
To answer one of Australia's fundamental philosophical questions,
do you think you're getting a fair go?
Miriam Margolyes is on a road trip.
Who knows what I'm going to find? I must be mad.
To meet the people who make Australia tick.
They've given us 1% of the land that was ours.
Keeping my eyes peeled for bogans. Jackpot.
Miriam Margolyes, Australia Unmasked. Starts Tuesday, July 19 on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
Darcy tapped it down straight to Schultz, roving, kicks around the body, marked by Taverner. At left ball forward, just outside the attacking goal square. He wheels around, snaps and goes. Their fourth of the night.
Darcy's in good position, has a lot of it, doesn't bring it down. Banfield off to Schultz, in the pocket, steps around one, back to Banfield, left foot check side, brilliant goal from Freo. And Fremantle have two in a couple of minutes.
Mundy on the run, bounces it for Brayshaw to run onto. Clever, Alex the soccer, beautiful touch as well. It came to lob. Schultz on his own at full forward, great closing speed back and he couldn't get there. Schultz gathers a goal. Lockie Schultz, he kicks Fremantle sixth.
He's out of the middle, Mills kicks inside 50. Franklin juggles it and completes it. It's 45 metres out on a 30-degree angle. Boot to ball from just inside 50. And the Buddy strut is up.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season
on ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
And also tonight on News Radio, we just need to send a foray into Radio National. We'll annex them next and we'll be on everything in the ABC on analogue radio. Good you could be with us right around WA, right around New South Wales. Cracker on our hands at the moment. Fremantle 6-5-41, Sydney 3-8-26, but the Swans would know they have missed some opportunities. They could be a lot closer. Huge result earlier. The game before this one, North Melbourne up against Richmond. The Kangaroos getting up by 4 points in a cliffhanger. Their first win after 14 games of disappointment and defeats. Their first win after the departure of their coach, David Noble, who was sent on his way during the week. So well done to Lee Adams. First game in charge. Joel Peterson called all the action, and after the game he went downstairs into the North Melbourne rooms.
The victorious North Melbourne captain Jack Zeebel's with us on Grandstand AFL after a pretty heart-stopping win in the end, Jack. So close last week. So much went on during the last 7 days at Arden Street. How do you sum all of that up after that 4-point victory?
It's been a big week. Off the back of last week's performance against Collingwood, we played well enough to win and fall short with a young group who haven't tasted too much success this year and been through a bit of a hard spell, and trying to keep the morale and confidence up is a challenge at times. But the boys took a lot of confidence out of last week that we can mix it with good sides, because Collingwood obviously are playing some pretty good footy at the minute, and we know what team Richmond are and have been over the last few years, and they're pressing their claims for September. So we thought that if we brought the same intensity and effort we brought last week, we'd be right in it. And I'm really proud of the group because it's been a big week with everything going on, and to put that behind us for the 2 hours on Saturday afternoon and just come out and get the job done, I think was really mature for our young group, and especially learning some lessons we learnt last week when we got overrun. Like Richmond looked like they were coming and hit the front, and for us to claw back and get that 4 points is it's huge for our footy club.
I mean, the position you were in was remarkably similar. You led Collingwood by 28 points late in the third quarter last week. You led Richmond by 32 points at half-time today. They hit the front late in that term through the goal to Jack Graham. For Cam Zerha to bob up and kick number 6 from the pocket, but just to find the response when the moment was there. I mean, for everyone in the group, that must be a massive dose of confidence.
Absolutely, and we've been to work this week, and we've put a pound of work in, to be completely frank, over the last 14, 15 weeks. I know our results probably haven't shown that in terms of the scoreboard and performance, but to all of our fans and members who are on the journey with us, we are working our butts off to turn this thing around. And it's bittersweet because you lose your coach halfway through the week, and I feel for Nobes right now because he's obviously not here with us, but for Patch to come in and take over this week under the circumstances and get the boys up and keep the boys together, I thought he did a great job. But I think Nobes has laid plenty of some really strong foundations for our club. We've done some pretty hard yards over the last 18 months, and I think we're going to see some rewards for that, hopefully in the back half of this year and next year and into the near future as well. So it's going to be a pretty exciting time to be a North supporter.
So as a group, the second performance being sort of at this level for a second week in a row, it shows that last week wasn't a flash in the pan, but do you feel like it's a bit of affirmation for maybe, irrespective of everything that went on during the week, and you sort of can't disconnect them, but in a sense, I guess, you need to. Do you feel as though it's a bit of affirmation that the path is there and the results will come eventually?
Absolutely. We've been saying that to the boys all year, to be fair. We've been, as I said a bit earlier, trying our, the amount of effort we're putting in, how much work we're putting in at the club, on the training track, trying to fix everything we need to fix, whilst working on our strengths as well, has been a power of work throughout the season, and we knew the rewards were going to come at some point. And sometimes it's hard to see light at the end of the tunnel when you're in the situation, but the belief is strong, and the coaching group's done a fantastic job knuckling down. And I'm just wrapped that a lot of our young guys have had their first win today. It's pretty bizarre in round 18 of a footy season, but for them to enjoy that success, know what it feels like to win, hopefully it becomes really addictive for them. They just want to do it more and more and more and build on that. And I think the next 5 weeks are really crucial for our footy club in the back half of this year and what we want to achieve.
That was a truly bananas game of footy, Jack. Thanks for your time in the aftermath. Congratulations on the win.
Thanks very much. Cheers.
So that was glorious North Melbourne Rooms for only the second time this year, and the dead cat bounce working, an absolute treat. Joel Peterson catching up with the North Melbourne captain, Jack Zeeble, down in the rooms after that game. Why does that happen? Cara, Shane Woden, the sugar hit, the dead cat bounce, whatever you want to call it, why?
Mate, you can't put a finger on it. It's players find another leg. It's not right, is it?
No.
They should be doing it weeks before as well. And
is it just that you're unencumbered mentally or something of the like?
Yeah,
there's a string of behind.
Yeah.
I mean, they were good last week, though.
Yeah.
They were good last week for, 3.5 quarters, North.
Starting to build.
Yeah, look, they played well today. I watched the game. I mean, it's disappointing for their fans and obviously David Noble to go out that way, but hopefully the last kind of group of games for the season, they can show some promise and build some momentum into next season.
And as a diehard Pies fan, it's been a nervous year for you. They won another close game.
I'm a Fremantle supporter, thank you. I don't know what you're talking about. No, the Pies were good today. They were good. Good game. Adelaide were good again. Some pretty crappy conditions, but how good is Dacos? Outstanding.
Yeah, very good player.
40 and 3, I think he had today.
40 and 3, and went at 86.
Yeah.
First two at half-back.
Percent disposal efficiency. And
finds the ball.
He just didn't fumble when others did today.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I read a story from Cal Toomey, who's the draft guru, and he put on Twitter a story about how, genetics are great, but when it was a wet day, apparently he used to drag his dad Peter down to the park and get him to kick the ball to him because he loved working on his handling when it was wet. So
there you go. Pays off.
Preparation does pay off.
Yeah, just gets himself in good spots, but also then stays involved, doubles up, and just racks it.
Some of the numbers up to halftime here on Grandstand AFL. Contested possessions, Fremantle +3. The clearances 20-16. Inside 50s, Sydney 27-26 in that second quarter. I mentioned Sydney with a substantial advantage in terms of going inside 50, 18-10. Overall, the marks inside 50 now just 6-5 the way of Fremantle. They took 5-0 in the opening term. Leading ball winners, Luke Ryan with 13, Caleb Sarong 13. The leading all-comers, Callum Mills with 15, Florent and Warner both with 13 for the Swans as well. The Dockers leading by 15 points.
Still a lot of focus, not just because of where he might end up next season, but Buddy Franklin, 1 goal today moves him 1 shy of being equal 5th in the all-time goal kickers record. He's 1 shy of Gary Ablett Sr. with 131, so another 2, and he'll just slide past Gary Ablett Sr. into outright 5th in most goals kicked in VFL AFL football. Griffin Logue stands by him again. What a challenge he's got for another half of footy. About to get underway. Out in the middle, Fremantle have the lead, 6-5, 41 to 3-8, 26. Ben Cameron with you.
Darcy wins the opening tap, down towards Fife, there to mop it up. Warner gets a handball away. Mundy coming through for the Dockers, does well, controls it. Handball to Fife, to Brayshaw, to Mundy. Handball to Darcy, wants to put it on the big left slipper instead of handball to Brodie. Puts him under pressure, Brodie evades a tackle. Handball to Brayshaw, still in the middle of the Dockers. Receiving the handball, Chapman. Good kick to Mundy. Leading target, Taverner. He can't quite get there. Spoil comes away. It ricochets to Akers. A little shove from Warner. It was illegal in the back of Brodie. So the mark, 51 metres out from the attacking goal for the Dockers. Will Brodie. Where does he look? He just sets it up. towards the hot spot. Run and jump going up. Tabner comes down towards Walters. Spills out for Fife. The Swans get involved momentarily. Mills applies the tackle on Walters. Fife goes in again. It spits out and Warner can clear it for the Swans.
It's a long and high kick towards right half back. Ryan underneath it. Couldn't mark. Tapped by Reid in the direction of Heaney. Hands it back to Hayward. Hayward goes long towards Franklin, up against Logue. Franklin couldn't get there first time, tries to dive on it. Papley mops it up. Freo come from everywhere. They lock him up. Spilled out to Walker, then moved it on. Chance for Brayshaw. Shares it with Cox to Brayshaw to Walker again, who's at right half back. The inboard kick was precise, and Chapman marks just shy of the logo commentary wing.
Chapman runs to the logo, stabs a kick for Akers, a good kick. Akers just plays on, takes them on. Low ball looking for Walters. Rampy gets back, brings it down to ground level. Taberner, he's tackled as he gets a handball away to lob. Back to Taberner, quick snap. He floats it and misses to the near side. A minor score, Fremantle 6-6-42, Sydney 3-8-26. A 16-point advantage the way of the purple.
Lloyd goes himself, takes a bounce, heads into the right back pocket. Hands it off to Fox. Kick in the direction of Papley. Jordan Clark was right with him. Papley couldn't mark. Ball finds the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in. Right half back for Sydney.
Good close out by Jordan Clark. Good speed.
0437 774 774 if you'd like to get in touch by text. As Darcy wins it down for the Dockers to Brayshaw to Mundy. Hand pass to Chapman. Run down by Hayward. He got him. Did he get a hand pass away? No. Great tackle. Will Hayward wrapped him up beautifully. And he'll have the ball at right half back for Sydney. 6-6-42 the Dockers, 3-8-26 the Swans. Quick update at the MCG. The Cats by 19 points over the Blues. 9 gone in the third there.
Hayward kicks laterally to Rampy. Stabs a short pass to Florent. Marks low down. Ollie Florent. It's backward of the wing, southern side of the ground here at Perth Stadium. He'll kick towards the attacking arc for the Swans. Coming across Darcy, drops the mark. Warner at ground level, gathers for the Swans. Handball away to Reid, evades a couple. Handball out towards Clark, backfeeds a handball. Now McInerney tries to wait his kick, looking for a target there, and Hayward, he can't quite drag it in. The Dockers arrive in numbers. Clark, handball back to Cox, and Cox a high kick. Paddy McCartan camps underneath it, and he marks for Sydney. 16 points Freo's lead.
Paddy McCartan will send it back from whence it came. Kicks towards full forward. Up from the side. James Aish takes the defensive mark, and then he'll steer it out towards Mundy by foot. And he marks where the 50's marked on the ground at left half back for Fremantle. Off a step. Kicks towards the logo. Out of side. 5. Couldn't quite mark. Brought it to ground. Spilled out though to Warner. Warner kicks inboard and is able to find Hickey. Hickey, uncontested mark. They're making this look easy. He finds Papley. Mills is all on his own at left half back. Something's gone awry here with Fremantle. Hands it off to Paddy McCartan. Kicks in the direction of Reid. Good spoil Walker. Punched it down. Spilled over to Hayward. Hand pass to Heaney. Heaney for the Swans. Breaks a tackle. Hand passes to Papley. Papley from full forward. Snaps and goals. Oh, Tommy Papley. He takes the chance that Sydney needed. Sydney at 4-8-32 to the Dockers 6-6-42, and there's a little bit of byplay off the footy, Ben Cameron.
Yeah, the Sydney players are upset with Nat Fyfe, so he put the Sydney player down behind the ball. I don't think there was a lot in it. Lloyd he put down. The Swans players came for him immediately, and they're still going after Nat Fyfe.
Just really flat-footed there, the defenders from the Dockers, even some of the midfielders that had floated back to help. Sydney just flicked it around, had all the time and space in the world, and Papley, fantastic, just really quick ball to foot there, and able to snap one like he so often has.
10 points now, the difference in favour of the Dockers, and Fyfe, yeah, just the pushing of the head of the Swans player in the middle of the ground.
Nothing much
No,
in it, was
no
it?
reportable.
No, God, no.
Like push.
No, it's just the Swans reacting.
Yeah.
Which you have to.
Yeah, a bit of flag flying from Sydney, understandably so. Bounce the restart in the middle, Benny.
Hickey swats it down. Mundy onto the footy for Freo. Handball forward for Fife. Parker comes the other way. Fife wins it. Handball to Brayshaw. Looking for a leading target. Lob leading to the pocket. Lob's got it. 35 out. 30-degree angle to the right-hand side.
Good one-on-one by Fife inside. Just about get rid of his opponent. And Parker. Yeah, great delivery by Brayshaw. Didn't have to break stride there, Roy Lobb. All forwards love that.
Big Rory Lobb. Already got one. Kicked the first goal of the game. He tugs this left. A miss. Applond not having more fun as of right now. 11 points, Fremantle's advantage.
You've been saving that one, haven't you?
I swear I haven't.
No, I like that. It's very good. City goes short up the corridor. Fox to row bottom. A switch of play. Moving out towards Rampy. Could go on short to Blakey. That's ignored. Now he does go that way, just far enough to be a mark, and I mean just far enough to be a mark. Freo fans unhappy. Short pass again. Really close to not being far enough to be paid. Fox beyond defensive 50. That's a longer kick towards the commentary wing to Rowbottom, who pops it forward. Warner has to turn and go. Gets away from Brayshaw. Dacked him, but he played on. The kick finds its way to Franklin. Hands it off to Goulden at left half forward. Keeps going. Pops it inside forward. 50. Papley marks.
That's well worked, Sydney.
Franklin continued his run along the boundary line. Papley ignores him.
Patient, wasn't it?
That was really composed. 8-metre kicks.
They were very short, very skinny.
On the borderline.
Tommy Papley kicked there last. He kicked it from the goal square. Now his kick will have to travel all of 50 from left half forward. It's got the distance, not the accuracy. Missing to the left-hand side. The near side from where he kicked, a minor score. 4-9-33 the Swans. 6-7-43 the Dockers. 8 gone in the third. Text coming in from Lockie, listening in block 334. Why does Sydney get to wear their home gear at a Freo game? Oh dear, turnover. And Chapman has looked to go short and sending it back towards the corridor from the left back pocket, and he only found Heaney.
When do they not ever wear this jumper?
They don't have an alternative.
Well, they've got the South Melbourne jumper that they wear in Melbourne games. I would say this, Lockie, is Heaney's about to have a shot on goal. Sorry, Ben, for pinching your goal. I'd always rather have teams, if you can, in their traditional jumpers.
Absolutely.
If you can. Heaney doesn't care what jumper he's wearing. Heaney shoots a goal and he misses. They have left a few behind that they should have put on the scoreboard, Sydney.
They should be in front.
They should. He's missed to the right. They're 4-10-34, the Swans. 6-7-43, the Dockers. 9 gone in the third.
Ryan runs to the pocket. He'll drive it long towards the wing. Darcy goes up, doesn't bring down the mark. Let him up Tom McCartan. Handball to Reid. Handball to Warner. Sidesteps Young. Dumps it on the boot towards Franklin. Logue spoils well. Loose footy. Chapman onto it. Handball to Brayshaw. Handball to Walker. He gets around Goulden just in the nick of time. Clears to the wing for the Dockers. Long ball. Nobody's there to mark it. There's a free kick. It's going the way of the Swans. Stevens to have it. Mark set on the logo. Fremantle by 9 points. Shane Woden, the Brownlow medalist, saying had they taken their chances, they'd be in front. Lloyd with the ball. Defensive point to the square. He'll kick laterally. He'll kick to his teammate in Fox. His kick dicey, but it gets to Blakey. Fremantle by 9 points.
So Blakey will send it right towards the boundary on the southern wing. Paddy McCartan marks. Stabs it down the line. It was precise. It had to be. To Parker. And then a short pass. There's no way that that's a mark. Well, it's been paid as one, but it's no way the kick was long enough to Lloyd. That is a genuine 7 metres, probably less. Kicks the right half forward, and that's Warner. Marking again for Sydney, and pops it into the right forward pocket. Amani was all on his own.
Great build-up play again. Just composed, short possession, all the way to inside 50. Done it twice now.
Wouldn't want to be buying a residential block from these umpires. Hence the grumbling you hear around the ground.
And a clear objective, the coaching staff at half-time, just to build the ball up a little bit more.
Amati from right up against the boundary, right forward pocket. That's a beautiful finish. That is a magical finish. He's got his second. He would have had almost nothing to look at, and he steered it straight through. It's a 3-point ball game. It's as close as we've been since the opening minute or so of the game. 6-7-43 Freo. Sydney 5-10-40, 11-20 gone in the third term on Grandstand AFL. And a quick check across at the MCG. The Cats have got their lead out to 18 points, 8-8-56 to 6-2-38, 17 gone in the third there.
Well, as you said, Warrior, it's a clear direction from the Sydney coaches at half-time. They want to control the ball and try and kick their way through the Fremantle defence, and it's worked. The last couple of goals have come from real patient, controlled ball movement and provided their forwards best opportunity.
Fremantle might just need to adjust their tees to their opponents in the web.
Kick the last 3 goals of the game, the Swans. Out of the middle, Fife to Collier to Frederick. He runs towards half forward, delivers on the left towards full forward. No Docker down there can mark, loose footy. Eventually, Tom McCartan, handball to brother Paddy, who sweeps it back to Goulden at fullback. And a beautiful left-footed kick that sees Hayward not break stride as he marks. It's as good a left-foot kick as you will see in the league from Errol Goulden. As Hayward comes infield to Warner. 3 points, Fremantle's advantage. I mentioned the Swans have kicked the last 3 goals. They've also kicked 4 of the last 5 in the game.
So the kick is towards left half forward. Reid marks. Hand pass to Hayward. Akers tries to run him down. Got a hand pass to Amati. Couldn't take it cleanly. Papley couldn't gather. Socketed away. Picked it up. Gave it off to Clark. Run down. Frederick got him. Fremantle can respond. It comes to Brodie, to Akers, to Sarong, back to Brodie. They go through the middle of the ground. The kick towards the logo out of side. Banfield couldn't mark it cleanly. Could regather. Gave it to Fife. Hand pass to Sarong. Broke the tackle of Blakey. Kicked inside forward 50. Front position Rampy. Tackled by Walters. Umpire says play on. It comes to Schultz. He's got his second. What's the stat, Benny?
Don't say it.
Oh, no. It's not paid.
Gone early.
Benny was up and out of his seat too.
I thought it was a goal. Michael Walters is infringed here and he can't believe it. Let's have another look. Coming through the middle as the Swans try to bring it out of their defensive 50.
Dangerous tackle?
No, surely not.
Walters has taken... Well, I'm completely bewildered as to what that was about. I'm sure someone will let us know as the Swans move it towards left half back and Parker has it. No change to the score. Lockie Schultz still only has 1 goal. Fremantle still lead by 3 points, 14 gone in the third.
Probably the turning point in the match. It would have been over had that free kick not been paid. Instead, Sydney go forward. They turn it over. Florent. The mark taken there by Logue. Fremantle's advantage, 3 points for the uninitiated. 19 times in Lockie Schultz's career, he's kicked 2 goals. In every single one of those matches, Fremantle have won. As Walker moves it short to Ryan, he waits a kick for Banfield on the southern wing. Banfield good enough to take it. Has Collier running by, feeds him the handball. Now he kicks forward of the wing. Here is Schultz on cue, trying to get around Florent. He gets around him twice. Oh, he goes to ground Florent. He kicks towards full forward. Schultz turns it over. Mark taken there by Rampy in the right back pocket. 3 points. Fremantle's advantage. Quarter hour mark of the third.
So Rampy beyond defensive 50. Leaping Jordan Clark. Got a fist of the football. Logue can't quite keep it in. There'll be a boundary umpire to return the ball to play between centre wing and left half forward for the Dockers. It was a throw a short time ago. The reason we're being told is Frederick not the correct hand pass. You're seeing a replay there. It is the right call. He's back to us as he got the hand pass away. The camera angle from the other pocket letting us know that's the reason why it was called back.
Good decision.
It was a good decision in the end. Fremantle have got themselves a free kick here. A lot of the fans Still unaware, because we haven't seen it on the big screen, as to what the free kick was for. Jordan Clark happy to receive it. So he'll bring it inboard. Find Young for Fremantle. Their lead is still 3 points. Great fight back from Sydney. Kick towards Cox, who marks forward of the logo, centre wing commentary side. Brendan Cox can put it deep into the right forward pocket. Lobs there. Leaping up was Fox. Couldn't get to it. Taberner taps it back. It comes to Banfield. Great smother, Paddy McCartan. Needed to as well. Schultz can't quite gather. Florence there. Sydney could rush it through if they wanted. Instead, they're kicking almost out of bounds on the full. Stevens tries to get the clearing kick away. It's insufficient intent. I reckon it's the right call then as well. Free kick to Fremantle. 50 from goal. It's in the hands of Collier.
Just had to rush it through.
I don't know why he wouldn't have rushed it through then. There was enough pressure to be able to take it through, and now Collier can have a shot if he wants from 51 out. Well, that is just awful. He's missed everything to the left-hand side, out of bounds on the full. In the end, the right decision not to rush it through, because Sydney will get the ball from a free kick, and they concede nothing on the scoreboard. The Dock is still up by 3, 17 gone in the third term. Grandstand AFL, here's Ben Cameron.
So Rampy with a long kick towards the wing in the Franklin direction. Hands to it. Off hands. It goes towards the boundary line and out of play, a throw in. 3 points. Fremantle's lead. Buddy Franklin kicked a goal after the halftime siren. Happily 5 minutes into the second half. And then Joel Amati at the 11-minute mark. From the throw in. Collier swoops onto the footy on the wing. Sweeps a handball into Young. Forward handball away to Sarong. Loops it towards Cox in the middle of the ground. Look out. Just gets it off the Brayshaw. Onto Lob. 55 out. Likes his chances. Long towards goal. The mark taken by a Taberner, but was it through? They're going to check. From here, which is about 150 metres away, I thought it was through. Before Matty Taberner was able to mark it. The umpire's call is a behind as well. It is through, so it'll be a minor score. Fremantle's lead will go out to 4 points, 18 minutes into the fourth.
Well, the padding hides a bit of it, but I would suggest they'll go with the soft call if they can't be sure here. How good was Brayshaw's hand pass through the middle just then? It popped on, they were in trouble of getting caught.
Had a quiet start, but has worked his way into it with 14 disposals. He just works so hard.
I think he's had 8 this quarter.
Yeah, he just gets around the ground and wills himself to the next contest and into the game. He's a star.
You were spot on, Ben Cameron. Fremantle stretched their lead by a point. 44 plays 40. Cats by 29, by the way. 25 gone in the third term at the MCG over the Blues. Mills has it across half back for Sydney. New kick to Parker. Markey on centre wing. Commentary side of Perth Stadium. Moves it down the line to Goulden. A couple of other texts that I promise we'll get to at three-quarter time. 0437 774 774. Actually, maybe I won't read one of them out because I'll have to give Shaneway Woden and Cara Antonio a raise, and we can't afford it at the ABC. The kick is inside forward 50. And going up is Hayden Young, out-marking Heaney. The player he could turn out to be for the Fremantle Dockers. Now, there's a free kick going against Reid here, who bumped over Jordan Clark. Well off the ball, and that's going to be 50 for Fremantle.
It's costly. Don't let players do it. Gives up good territory.
Well, it allows Fremantle with one kick to send it right towards full forward.
One of their best kicks.
Lex to go short. Oh, to Sarong, who dropped the mark he should have taken. Nothing wrong with the kick, mind you. Warner scooped it up for the Swans. Hand pass to Heaney. They're on the rebound here, Sydney. It comes to Mills and the kick out towards Stevens, who marks. And then will play on quickly through the logo, southern wing.
Stevens sends it out to Amati. He marks 60 metres out. He skips back off the mark, sees what's before him. Nothing he likes as of yet. He'll go low to the pocket, looking for a leading Reid. Heaney also there. It comes down in front to Logue. After Clark, a high ball out of bounds on the full. Now, where did it cross the line? Right at the elbow of 50 in the boundary line, the umpire is saying.
Because if Chad Warner had to come interchange side, then storm out of the back of the centre square, Ed Will Hayward all by himself.
So Stevens with the kick. He goes short to Mills. Close to the boundary line. He marks 40 metres out, 1 metre in. He wants to try and pinpoint a target. Hickey's the target. Collier outsized. He goes up and fists it away. Loose footy in the pocket. They track it to the boundary. And seeing it out, Walker. A throw in, left forward pocket for the Swans. Fremantle by 4 points. The Dockers, they've only added 3 behinds in this second term to Sydney. In this second half, I should say, to Sydney, who have added 2 goals.
A bit going on off the ball tonight. As Darcy won it down, Heaney over the top of it. Picks it up, hand passes back to Warner. Dodges away from Brody. Snaps towards goal. Off the outside of the right, he's able to see it through for a major. Sydney are in front, and they're in front for the first time since the 5th minute of the opening term. 6:10:46. Fremantle 6:8:44. 22 gone in the third on Grandstand AFL.
Big tonight. Chad Warner, give a right up early during the week. Coming home, just elevated his game. He's only in his third season.
I know Shamo Woden for a fact that people inside the Sydney Swans organisation think he's a future Brownlow medalist.
Really?
They think that one day he'll sit alongside you as a Brownlow medalist. They apparently ride him very hard, but because they think he is a superstar in the making.
A big call made on Channel 9 this week as well by Damien Barrett that he reckons he's going to be a Brownlow medalist too.
He rates alongside Bontempelli and Petrarca as the only midfielders rated elite for impact.
What is it about East Freo?
Yeah.
It's a factory. It's an absolute factory.
Swans win it back. Across half-back. Fox's kick is Darcy. He took it out first, though.
How many Brownlow medalists have the Sharks produced?
3.
3.
Pretty impressive.
Who's the other one? Who are the other 2?
Black and Cousins.
Black and Cousins. Yeah, good going.
Spun back into play. Darcy won it down. Fremantle find themselves behind. Mundy looked to work it forward. Hacked off the ground by Papley, and Marty meets it. In the centre square, defensive edge for Sydney. The kick is towards the outer wing. Getting there, Hayward. Got tackled by Chapman. Dropped the ball. That's incorrect disposal. Free kick to Chapman.
Probably didn't need to take possession there, did he? Maybe just push it towards the boundary a little bit. Go to stoppage.
Chapman will send it high up towards left half forward. Lob front position, flew at it, couldn't quite mark. Paddy McCartan can't take it against Banfield. Banfield gathers off the ground, fires the hand pass to Walters for the Dockers. Hand pass intercepted by Lloyd. Kick goes through the hands of Rowbottom. Waiting behind him is Brayshaw. Has it for Fremantle. Short pass rather to Brody. Hands it off on towards Akers. Kicks towards full forward. Swans go up. It comes off the shoulder. One of the Swans defenders, and then goes through for a minor score. 1 point ball game. Sydney 6-10, Freo 6-9, 24 gone in the third.
Maybe another thriller between these two teams. Short kick in to Florent, who goes laterally to McInerney. McInerney short to Lloyd, called to play on, not the required distance. Back feeds a handball to Blakey, who chisels the kick nicely to Parker. Just backward of the wing, short to the logo, mark taken by Reid. Swans stream forward. Nothing he likes immediately, comes infield to Paddy McCartan, who will switch it across the centre square, right onto the chest of brother Tom. Goes further out wide and onto Fox.
Has to wait for the numbers to get across.
1 point, Sydney's advantage. Fox, a nice kick onto the chest of Rowbottom. At high half forward, he looks into the pocket in the Franklin direction. Logue does well, bodies him out of it. Ball goes over the back. Throw in right forward pocket for the Swans. Some of the numbers in this third quarter: 11 inside 50s to 9 the way of Sydney. 4 marks inside 50 to 1.
Sydney up by 27 disposals in this term as they fought their way back in front. Darcy's able to win it down. Onto it, Papley from the right forward pocket. He goes at goal and just misses. You would never write him off. kicked a similar goal like that in COVID conditions against Adelaide and then hilariously went and high-fived the imaginary crowd back along the boundary. 6:11:47 to 6:9:45. The Swans double their lead. 26 gone in the third.
Third quarters have been Fremantle's best this year. They're going to lose this third term. Long kick in from Young on his non-preferred right. Lob can't mark. Loose footy picked up by Clark. Away to Waish, who's tackled. Just gets a handball away. Now the Swans are there in numbers. Though Blakey, look away handball, turns it over. Brayshaw nowhere to go, goes back to Waish. He kicks forward of the wing. Fife goes up, doesn't complete it. McCartan beats him at ground level, kicks forward of the wing. And the Swans quickly back the other way. Parker with it.
Parker's kick had to be precise. Got it to Mills just onto Rampy, moving it forward. Or Rowbottom rather. Got a kick to McInerney. Goes back to Parker. Probably concedes about 25 metres. Parker, commentary side of the logo, northern wing, sends it into the middle of the ground. That is Rampy. Moves it on in turn. This is Lloyd, who steps off his line and then gets a kick away under real pressure out to Stevens. No one in front of him, so he can run to the logo southern wing. Wobbly looking kick into the right forward pocket. It bounces away from Darcy. Papley meets it at pace. Papley still going. Great effort from Ryan. He ran him down, knocked the ball out of his hand, saw it over the boundary line and then let him know about it as well. He's got himself the free kick for holding the ball. Great effort, Ryan. Just when he thought Papley was away from him, a second effort was able to wrap him up.
Lucky not to be in reverse.
Shouldn't have probably given him a shove in the back afterwards.
No, you don't need to be...
So Clark in the right back pocket for Fremantle. Justin Longmuir will be itching to speak to his team. Thoroughly outplayed in this third term. Chapman gives it back to Clark, kicks around the northern wing. Freddie's out the back. He tries to gather it. Might have kicked it out on the full. He did. Tried to bend over and pick it up and ricocheted off the boot. Out on the full. Rory Lobb still sore with that shoulder. 2 points. Sydney's lead. The Freo faithful trying to get them going with the Freo chant.
Cats by 29 points at three-quarter time at the MCG. It's a lot tighter here as Franklin has it at left half forward. Kicks inside the forward 50. McCartan had it. Hand passed over the shoulder to Clark, to Papley. Hand pass to Mills. Here's Warner again! Not with this. The snap-on goal misses to the left-hand side. Wasn't far away. Swans lead us 3 points. 28.5 gone in the third.
Oh, you might not even be the best Brownlow medalist from East Fremantle with peroxide blonde tips by the end of Chad Warner's career. He does have the blonde hair, which we know can help attract a few extra votes. Long kick from Young towards halfback. Darcy dumps it on his left boot. Kicks Freo towards the logo. Banfield underneath it. Lloyd there with him. Neither can mark. Loose footy. Frederick tries to get involved. Rampy picks it back up. Frederick steals it. And the siren sounds for three-quarter time. And a dominant third term from the visitors, the Sydney Swans. 3 unanswered goals. They've kicked 4 on the bounce, 1 before half-time. And they've kicked 4 of the last 5 goals. Rory Lobb's back down the race for maybe a little bit of pain relief. And the Swans lead by 3 points as we turn for home.
Worth mentioning too that in terms of scoring, Fremantle's last goal came at the 29-minute mark of the second term. So Freo held goalless in that third quarter. Having a look at the goal kickers for Sydney, Amati's got a couple, Warner, Papley, Goulden and Franklin. While for Fremantle, Banfield, Lobb, Taberner, Mundy and Schultz, their goal kickers. Sydney 6-12-48, Fremantle 6-9-45. If you want to get in touch, 0437 774 774 is the number to send us a text message on. Wherever you're listening on ABC Radio, ABC News Radio and ABC Sport Digital, this is Grandstand AFL.
Conversations.
Spend an hour in the life of someone else.
You go very raw and you feel a whole layer of skin has been peeled off.
Someone who has seen and done remarkable things.
I didn't stand up next to a safe with a doctor's stethoscope and pick the numbers, but we used to open safes, yeah.
Hear the latest conversations weekday mornings from 11 on ABC Radio.
Or anytime on the ABC Listen app.
The 2022 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
McCartan kicks in the direction of Reid. Good spoil Walker. Punched it down. Spilled over Haywood. Hand pass to Heaney. Heaney for the Swans. Breaks a tackle. Hand pass to Papley. Papley from full forward. Snaps and goals. He takes the chance that Sydney needed. Warner marking again for Sydney and pops it into the right forward pocket. Amati was all on his own. Amati from right up against the boundary, right forward pocket. That's a beautiful finish. That is a magical finish. He's got his second. Darcy won it down. Heaney over the top of it. Picks it up. Hand passes back to Warner. Dodges away from Brody. Snaps towards goal. Off the outside of the right. He's able to see it through for a major. Sydney are in front, and they're in front for the first time since the 5th minute of the opening term.
This is the 2022 AFL Premiership season.
On ABC Radio and ABC Sport Digital.
We've got a genuine battle on our hands here at Perth Stadium. Akash Fodadar has got some news for us downstairs. Akash.
As Ben mentioned, Rory Lobb went down in the rooms for the Fremantle Dockers, but Tom Papley, who has just emerged from the Sydney rooms as well, as soon as the three-quarter time siren sounded, he raced past his own bench, giving his players a bit of a G up, and then went straight down into the change rooms.
A couple of text messages to go through. My maths has never been good, I admit. 90 minus 73 is 17. Thanks very much. Appreciate that. Graham from Carnup says, with Lobb looking to move to New South Wales and Buddy's missing family, how could a trade be garnered? That is a very interesting question. I'm not sure whether Fremantle would be interested in getting Buddy Franklin across, but I'd love to see him in the purple with the white chevrons. Request here that we can't follow through with. Please don't spoil the other game. Can you keep the updates to breaks only? We can't. We have to keep updating it. That's the policy and what we do on Grandstand AFL. So thanks, but I can't do that for you. Apologies. Loving the call. Making the wife her favourite dinner of grilled salmon, listening, enjoying the Freo hustle. You guys are my favourite commentary team. Cara Smarts are fantastic. You all have great chemistry, way better than other fellows that might call Friday, but don't tell Mick I said that. That's very nice of you.
Very nice.
There's no raise for either of you guys. As good as you are, though, Cara and Shane Woden, assess what we're seeing in front of us. The Swans, they've hit the fronts.
They were good that third quarter when they came out. There was a clear message at half-time to, as I mentioned throughout that call, we both did, to chip through the Fremantle defence and create a bit more of a controlled, deliberate ball movement to provide their forwards with some marks inside forward 50. Both sides missed opportunities, though. You know, the Dockers 4 points, Sydney 3-4. They probably could have had another couple, to be honest, but they're up in the tackles, the ground balls, the inside 50s. Warner was massive that quarter. The 13 touches and hit the scoreboard as well. He's dangerous, isn't he?
Yeah, very good. Very good player. He is dangerous. There's a good build-up by Sydney, and it probably caught Freo off guard a little bit, and whether or not the message were getting down and effectively getting to the players out there, but yeah, they just didn't come forward to take those marks. It's not that folding back Fremantle, and they're just able to build the ball all the way into inside 50. It was 49-17 uncontested marks that quarter. 49 in a quarter's a lot, a hell of a lot. So they just changed their style, and it just forced Freo to defend more, and they just weren't doing a good job of it. They just couldn't win the ball back, and it was very clever. It's good coaching. I thought it was a good tactical move, and forced JL to do something different in the box. So yeah, they played a good quarter.
I got bad news for Fremantle fans. That's actually the 4th goalless term this year for the Fremantle Dockers. The other 3 have all come in losses. So they had 2 goalless terms, the second and third quarters against the Gold Coast Suns, and a goalless term against Collingwood, both of which were losses for the Fremantle Dockers. Some of the overall numbers: contested possessions +6 Fremantle. They're +6 in clearances as well. Inside 50, Sydney 40-35. The tackles, Sydney 49 to Fremantle's 40. Leading individual ball winners, Monday 19. Chad Warner, the future Charlie winner perhaps, with 25. Chapman 17, Mills with 21.
Kim and Dave listening in from Stonehaven Beach on Hook Island, the northern end of the Whit Sundays. They've got 1 bar of reception, but they're still listening in. Come on the Dockers, they say. Let us see what unfolds. A quarter to come. The Swans in front by 3. Bounce of the footy to get the final term underway. Hickey went early. Darcy stayed down. He wins the tap. Parker out after it. Can't gather. Brody goes crashing into Fife. Ball comes out though to Brayshaw. Dockers with first use of the footy. Kicks the left half forward. This is Walters. Steers it inside attacking 50. Lobs there. Gathers on the bounce. Sweeps the hand pass to Frederick. Hand pass off to Taberner. Can't gather. Surrounded by Swans. Tapped it down. Warner looked to get rid of it. Came to Taberner again. Great smother Lloyd. Out to Fife. Here's Schultz. Schultz snaps. He goes. Guess what? He's got 2. And Freo are back in front. Fremantle 7-9-51. Sydney 6-12-48. Opening 60 seconds of the final term. Well, one of your stats is falling over, Benny. Be it about goalless quarters or be it about Lockie Schultz kicking 2.
Well, built up a pressure there, really. The ball came inside forward 50 and Fremantle forwards and midfielders turned up and were active. A lot of movement inside there and a bit of chaos ball, but a number of attempted shots at goal and the ball falls in the hands of Lockie Schultz and a nice little snap over his shoulder.
I put the goal down to James Aish. The ability to come forward onto Warner, forced the fumble, was a big hit, which ball spilled, goal.
Bounce in the middle. Hickey decisively with the tap. Happily in there for the Swans. Handball to Warner. Chased down by Aish. Gets it off towards Paddy McCartan. A kick towards the wing. Sarong's fighting on with Goulden. There's a free kick. It'll go to Sarong. So Sarong in the middle of the ground. Fremantle lead by 3 points. Sarong kicks as long as he can. Darcy comes across. Almost clunks it. Frederick onto it. Handball away to Fife, to Taberner. Snaps around the body. Tom McCartan, it ricochets off his shins. Walters is there. He tries to draw the high free kick. He does. He dropped the knees. He shrugged the shoulder. And the umpire said, that's high. Right forward pocket.
A little pep talk from JL at the 3/4 time, you think?
Right side for a left footer.
Somebody changed their gears.
Pep talk might not be the right word.
Raised voice.
Not angry, just disappointed. So Walters. He'll go the banana. The celebration might be interesting. Walters bends it through. An emotional week for Michael Walters. And the Freo players, like the Freo fandom, wrap their arms around Sun. Fremantle, they've jumped out of the gates in the 4th. They lead by 9 points. 8-9-57 to 6-12-48. 3 minutes into the 4th.
He's been all right tonight.
Yes.
He's got up the ground a little bit. There's a high forward, got deep, been clean. Gives good energy in that front half.
4 clearances, 15 disposals, and now a goal to Michael Walters. Fremantle have hit back strongly in the opening stages of the 4th. Darcy wins it down. Brody on the ground. Hand pass back to Sarong, or Fife rather, underneath it. Socket away though by Sydney towards centre half forward. Happily lost his footing. Brayshaw didn't. Hand pass back to Walker. Under pressure from Mills. Mills holds the ball in to Walker. We'll have ourselves a ball up between centre half back, centre half forward rather, and right half forward for Sydney.
Coaches have put Aish to Warner in this quarter.
Tap one down by Hickey inside forward 50. Brody couldn't get there. Heaney does. Set upon immediately by Brayshaw. Rips the ball away. Got a hand pass in the direction of Schultz, but he's happy to see it over the boundary line for a throw-in.
It's been their go-to to go and sit on someone of late. James Aish. Play inside now. Nullify the influence.
9 points. Fremantle's advantage. The Swans led by 3 points at 3/4 time. The Dockers with the opening 2 goals of the game. Akers tracks after it at halfback. Handball away towards Clark, who gets it onto Fife to Brody. Handball for Schultz. He slips over it, allows in the Swans. He bounces back up Big tackle on McInerney. McInerney gets a handball away to Parker, to Heaney, to Mills. Long kick inside 50. Franklin's there. Cox and Logue to contend with. Swats it down. Papley onto it. Run down by Walker. Dribbles a kick on goal. Logue sees it through. And are behind. 8 points. The Dockers lead. Another thriller between these two clubs. 8 points. The advantage, 5 into the fourth.
Ryan with the kicking duties takes a few steps forward in the direction of Darcy. Going up, trying to mark it. And getting a free kick here is Paddy McCartan. Just shy of right half forward for Sydney. And gets told to move it on. He goes laterally. The kick was low, flat and hard into the chest of Rampy. It needed to be as he was closed down by Schultz. Rampy kicks long towards full forward. Going back, Darcy marks. Good defensive effort from the big fella for Freo. He's got it at full back. 12 gone in the final term at the MCG. The Cats by 33 over Carlton as the kick is to the outer side for Sydney. Lob won it down. Comes there to Hickey, then to Goulden. Kicks into the left forward pocket and somehow Hayward has got completely free. And he takes an uncontested mark, 35 from goal, right up against the boundary in the left forward pocket.
Josh Kennedy pocket.
Yes. Well, the Nathan O'Driscoll pocket in Freo games. Kick is around the body from Hayward. That's wonderful. Right on the boundary, he puts it through for Sydney to bring them back to within 2 points. Will Hayward kicks a ripper. Fremantle 8-9-57, Sydney 7-13-55. It's a thriller on Grandstand AFL. 7 gone in the final term.
It's a great goal. And as defenders, you don't mind giving that one up, 50 out on the boundary, but that's an incredible shot from that pocket.
Goulden's leg again. Just finding Hayward in the pocket. Yeah, some of those defenders at times for Freo are giving too much room.
The umpire puts it down. Reading the Riker post to Darcy. Darcy a little backhander. Brayshaw going after it. Warner soccers it off the deck. Amati picks it up on the half volley. Handball to Heaney. Handball to Parker. On his left from 40. Floats it on goal. It's wide of the target. A minor score. Fremantle's lead as small as possible. With 8 minutes gone in the fourth term.
Pressure would be immense now. Luke Ryan, best and fairest and an All-Australian. Beyond defensive 50 with the kick. Taberner, fine mark at left half back in a pack for the Dockers. Floats the ball inside forward 50. Walters had to wait. Goulden flew, couldn't mark but won it back. Worked it on towards Florent. Kicked towards centre half forward and a great diving grab from Chapman. Really had to launch himself backwards at the football that was coming over his head. Goes short to another of the Freo young guns, Inya.
He's had a good return, 18 touches and the 7 marks, Chappie.
As Ben's mentioned, back for his first game in a long time, round 11. And Akers, another returning from a hamstring injury tonight for Fremantle. The ball's with Logue at right half back. He'll send it back to Ryan in his defensive 50 for Fremantle. The Dockers are up by 1 point, 9 gone in the last.
Ryan bites off a kick into the middle of the ground. In best position, McInerney doesn't quite take it. Schultz applies the tackle on Warner, gets the handball away. Rampy gives it back to McInerney, kicks inside 50, and Papley cradles it to his chest, then goes short, and Heaney, he bobs up on the end of the kick that went the bare 15. The mark set, 40 metres out, slide angle right of centre.
Taberner and Ryan, 2 kicks back in the corridor, 50-metre kicks. Real dangerous.
To out numbers as well.
2 turnovers, yeah. I don't think Taberner saw Goulden on the first one, but that second one, very dangerous.
You mentioned earlier, 5 goals in the last meeting. Heaney puts the Swans in front. They're out by 5 points. 8:14.62 plays 8:9.57, 10 minutes into the fourth on Grandstand AFL.
They look dangerous at the moment. The last kind of 3 or 4 minutes, the Swans have gained a little bit of momentum back, and every time they get it, they're hitting targets, and they know what kind of method of ball movement they want to use, and hitting the scoreboard is most important, which they're doing.
I know what Ryan was thinking there. He forced a turnover, then didn't want to go and close out Papley. Just allowed an easy uncontested mark, which then gives it to Heaney.
Just checking my maths, but yes, the man with number 5 on his back gives Sydney a 5-point lead. As Darcy got a fingertip on it, then gathers in the centre circles, tackled by Reid. Ball jarred out, but Brodie was there for Fremantle. Gave it off to Aish, kicks inside forward 50, good spoil Rampy. Mills meets the football, hand pass to Goulden, he's at left half back for the Swans. Kicks long down the line, wants Franklin up against Logue. Logue and Franklin go at it. Logue strong enough to remove Franklin from the football. Now picked up by Young, hand pass to Chapman, clever tap to Logue. Gives it to Brodie, hand pass to Young. Back to Brodie again, slick movement from Fremantle. It comes to Collier, takes a bounce on the southern wing, kicks towards right half forward. Going up, Taberner couldn't mark. It spills down to Tom McCartan. Now a chance for Rampy to get rid of it. Kicks high up in the air to the outer side. Haywood worked out from the football illegally, according to the officials, by Young. And the Swans will have a free kick between centre wing and left half back.
Short kick to Mills. Puts it out in front of Parker. He marks 70 out from the Swans goal. Just walks back off the mark. A lead comes from Heaney. He'll send it in that direction, overshoots him slightly, dropping the mark there, Logue. Now getting involved, Cox tries to break a tackle, eventually does. Handball away to Collier. Collier kicks the Dockers to the wing and Taberner marks. It feels like it's going to be a pulsating final term. The Swans leading by 5 points. Taberner with it for the Dockers on the wing, 12 minutes in.
You'll get told to move it on. Taberner long towards right half forward. Bailey Banfield has to attack the footy. It spills down here to Frederick, moves it on to Lobb, sweeps a hand pass forward. Warner's back there though. Frederick tries to tackle. Warner broke it and then kicks back from whence it came towards the southern wing. Collier has been pushed and he'll get the free kick. Fremantle have it. 80 from goal. Collier into the right forward pocket and he hits Frederick on the chest. He marks where the 50-metre arc meets the boundary at right half forward. Glanced inboard for a moment. Now we go for goal. He won't. He'll set it up towards the top of the goal square. He wants Darcy. Reid punches it through. Minor score. Fremantle move to be 8-10-58. The Swans are 8-14-62. A 4-point advantage to Sydney. 13 gone in the last on Grandstand AFL. The Cats are up by 34 points as they hit time on at the MCG in the final quarter against the Blues.
The Swans have been a really good finishing side this year. They've only lost 3 final quarters the whole season. Fox goes long towards the wing. Nobody's able to mark. Chapman at the fall of the ball. Handball to Schultz. Tries to take on Paddy McCartan. McCartan's got him. Schultz needs the line. Not in time, holding the ball. One half of the Big Macs down there in defence for the Swans. Paddy was able to claim him. He goes short with his kick. Back to Fox. He'll run around Darcy on the mark and drive the Swans back towards the logo on the wing.
Kick is up there, rising. Heaney gathers, tries to bustle his way through. I reckon took on the tackler. Umpire says it's okay. He's got a hand pass out to Akers. That's a poor kick. Down the throat of a Swan in Fox. He quickly sends it towards Franklin at right half forward. He goes to ground, crashing into a teammate. Good defence again from the Dockers. They're both okay, Amati and Franklin, though they are a bit sore as Walker kicks towards the commentary wing. And again, they're able to mark here through Fox, the Sydney Swans. Actually, Amati is a little bit worse for wear. I take it all back. Mind you, he was crashed into by Buddy Franklin a moment ago, holding the left shoulder. He's in strife. He'll be heading off the ground. We'll get a cash to keep an eye on him. As the Swans mark it right half back through Fox, and he'll move it short to Lloyd. And he can spot Mills, who marks on the logo, commentary side of the ground. Sydney by 4 points, 15 gone in the last.
It feels like the Swans have the answers. Fox to half forward to Parker. Marks and goes. Eyes the goals. Drives it on target. It's the padding of the goalpost. 5 points. Sydney's lead. It does feel like momentum's wearing red and white, more so than purple.
We mentioned at the very start of the broadcast, 2 of the past 3 games between these clubs at this ground have been thrillers, a 2-point win and a 1-point win. For those in purple, will Sydney pinch one back now? They've got the ball through Mills, just forward of the wing. Southern side of the stadium, kicks inside forward 50, leaping up. Ryan couldn't mark. Walker's there at the drop, tackled immediately. Ball jarred out. Reid got a hand pass away to Warner. Hands it back to Goulden from the left forward pocket. He sends it towards goal. That is simply stunning. That's an amazing goal. He punches the air to celebrate, and Swans come from everywhere. What a finish from him. His seconds. And Sydney's lead is out to 11 points. 9:15:69 plays Fremantle 8:10:58. And the crowd is a ripper here in the West. 46,596.
Had good shape, Sydney. Had players out, ready for it. Warner, great composure, but an excellent left foot kick. He's a star. It's been good tonight as well.
Very good finish.
He celebrated early too. Errol Goulden. So they've kicked the last 3 after the Dockers kicked the first 2 of this final term. And Fremantle, if they lose tonight, will be just hanging on to the 4. In 4th, they win it out of the middle. Sarong, high left-footed kick towards half-forward. Banfield, he's out-pointed there by McInerney. He marks at right half-back for the Swans. Like I said, it just feels like Sydney have the game in their keeping. They lead by 11 points. Heaney, low ball, doesn't find the target at Mills. It does on the bounce. Ryan paddles it on. Fox does really well. Flicks out a handball towards Stevens. And then Warner's tackled holding the ball. Pinned. So Ryan wins it back. Defensive side of the wing.
Ryan heads to the corridor, marked by Young. In the centre square, he'll move it on to Banfield. They go straight down the corridor here, Fremantle. Hands it off. Kick inside forward 50. Young can only find a Swan in Rampy. Good defensive mark. Young sharing it with Banfield, and then Young electing to kick inside the attacking 50, but could only find a player in red and white. As Rampy sends it back towards the southern wing. Good mark, Cox. Up against Reid. Takes the grab on the logo. Southern side of Perth Stadium. It's still 11 points to the Swans. 19 gone in the 4th. The kick in the direction of Lobb. Marks right up against the boundary, 80 from goal. What does he do for Fremantle? There's a short option on from Sarong. That's ignored. Lobb will put it towards right full forward. Taberner was out. Tom McCartan at the back. He couldn't mark. McInerney dives in. Fife tries to lock it in. Hand pass comes out the side for the Swans. And then Schultz tackles his opponent over the boundary line. It'll be a throw-in. Florent, the player, taken over the line for the Swans as they make the announcement official. 46-5-9-6 in at Perth Stadium tonight.
Fremantle need a goal. Lob opposed to Hickey. Hickey brings it down. Collier in the pocket. Snaps on goal. And misses. Almost. He's bending the wrong way with the right foot banana from the right pocket. 10 points. Sydney's lead. Almost time on in the 4th.
Lloyd under pressure from Schultz. Goes looking for McInerney, who marks in front of Aish. McInerney will move it short to Fox, who's standing right in front of where Akash Fodadar is. Akash has got nothing to add, so Sydney will move it down the line. Comes on in turn to Rowbottom. to Warner. Kicks towards right half forward. Leaping up was Reid. Got a touch on it. Spilled down to Young. Has to go back by hand on Walker under real pressure. He's tackled. Does he get a hand pass out? He does, but only to Reid. Reid for the Swans to Hayward. Centering kick. Lobs back there. It spills to Papley in the goal square. And Papley kicks his second. Hickey involved in the contest with Lob. Hickey got the touch on it to see it spill down. Papley in the right spot. He gets 2. The Swans are on their way to their 11th win of the season. 10-15-75 to the Dockers 8-11-59. 21 gone in the final term on Grandstand AFL.
I find they're short first out of D50. It's that second kick, which is generally about a 35-metre kick, and they hit that one all bumps. They hit row bottom here between the arcs, but then flicks it to the middle, and they play on, and they win contest in their front half. They've been doing it all their second half. It's been really impressive.
What about Papley doing the windmill with the right arm, sticking the tongue out?
Oh, he loves the celebration.
He likes a goal, does Tom.
16 points. 7 minutes to play. There's a free kick in the middle. It's going the way of the Swans.
Warner. I think Pfeiffer's holding him.
So Warner to get the free kick. Warner will kick laterally out towards Lloyd. Lloyd will go further out wide to Goulden. He's had a good night again, Errol. Just backward of the wing. Northern side of the ground, retreats with his kick. Back to Tom McCartan. This has been the change for the Swans in the second half. They've controlled the footy. More kick mark. McCartan short to Lloyd. And now very content with time ticking away to continue to do the same as Lloyd goes short to Florent. He'll retreat to Rampy inside the defensive 50. Rampy plays on and eventually kicks laterally to Tom McCartan again. In the left back pocket, Tom McCartan with the footy for the Sydney Swans. He'll go long towards the wing. Chapman goes up. Big fly. Doesn't quite complete the mark. Slips through his fingers. Hayward's there. Gives it off towards a teammate in Stevens. Kicks around the corner. And the mark just taken by McInerney. In fact, he's fumbled it out of play. We'll get a throw in on the wing. Southern side of the ground. Neutral territory. Sydney leading by 16 points. 22 minutes into this final term.
It's the Cats by 30. 28 gone in the last at the MCG over the Blues. As Sarong looks to paddle the ball along the boundary line. It's met by Stevens coming the other way, and then he crashes over the line almost like a try scorer in rugby. It's going to be a throw-in.
So the air's gone out of the balloon in the crowd, hasn't it?
It has.
They've shut up shop.
16 points. There's still time, but the way Freo played, they'll need something miraculous as Fife tries to put it on his own shoulders and goes burrowing through and then tackled by Mills. Ball up just forward of the logo, southern wing for Fremantle. Hickey got a tap down, tackled by Darcy straight away. Popped out, umpire says holding the ball. Hickey wasn't impressed. Darcy played on to Akers, kicks inside the forward 50. Spoil came from Fox, spilled out towards Schultz, thrown out of the contest. It's there again to be won. Umpire says we'll ball it up as Lloyd goes in to take control of the footy. It's inside Freo's forward 50. They need a goal. They need it now. 24 gone in the last. They trail by 16.
Hickey swats it down. Lots of Swans around the footy. Goulden, handball away to Florent. He dumps a kick into the middle of the ground. Chapman's in good position. Hayward there with him. Hayward brings it to ground, then gathers. Gets it away to Clark. Clark a handball to Warner. Runs right into Chapman. Bounces off him. Eventually gets a kick away. It's a good one. It finds Clark. He marks on the logo.
Strong Warner.
Very.
He throws him around.
I think the air's gone out of the Fremantle players as well now, Wowie.
Yep. Just haven't defended it well this second half. I didn't allow this the whole 60 minutes.
Sydney chipping it around. Florent alongside the logo. He'll try and chisel a low ball towards half forward. Swatted away by Geordie Clark. And a throw-in to come at half forward for Sydney. They lead by 16 points, 25 minutes almost gone in this final term. A despondent look from Justin Longmuir.
With good reason, a chance to lock down a finals berth. Slipping by. I'll have to wait till at least next week. As Goulden gets a kick away towards right half forward for the Sydney Swans. Young's there for the Dockers, picks it up, sends it back towards the commentary wing. And backing back was Paddy McCartan, couldn't mark, spills down for the Swans again though. They'll sweep it forward through Rampy. Here's Warner once more. High and long into the right forward pocket. Franklin, or Reid rather, underneath it. Franklin lurking nearby. Reid can't mark. It's off his hands and over for a boundary throw-in. Geelong, they climbed to the top of the ladder. I should say they were top of the ladder. They stretched their lead to a game at the moment on top of the ladder with a win over the Blues. And the restart spills down to Hickey. Hickey shoots on goal from the right forward pocket. He misses. Probably should have done better. Could have been another one for Sydney. Instead, just a minor score. 10-16, 76 the Swans. 8-11, 59 the Dockers. 26 gone in the last.
Ryan knows they need to take it on. He goes up the middle. Fife can't complete the mark. Trying to come through Collier. He can't pick it up either. And another ball up in the middle. Hayward at the bottom of the pack. Last man up. Darcy takes it out of the ruck. Gives it off to Brodie. Just gets a kick moving forward. In the middle of Perth Stadium, bouncing ball, Paddy McCartan. He beats Walters to it, then slaps it on. Sarong gathers though, gives it off to Brayshaw, takes them on. Handball away to Clark, running towards the attacking edge of the square. Long towards Taberner. Sydney have the outnumber. They bounces down towards goal. Taberner hacks it out of the air, puts it through. There's a faint purple heartbeat, but it's weak. 11 points, Sydney's lead. Taberner's got 2. 27 minutes gone in the fourth.
Well, I was about to say that wasn't the right hit because Sydney had a number of defenders floating back, and Taberner there has just kept his feet and been able to create something out of absolutely nothing. Fantastic. I mean, as you said, Benny, they've got a slight heartbeat, but it's going to be very hard from here. It all happens in the centre bounce down, and they need a couple of centre clearances here very quickly.
The old goals for minutes theory. Fremantle still a chance. Fremantle crowd, they try to rally their team. They raise their voice once more. It's Darcy against Reid, and it's Reid that wins it down, but Mundy, who reads it well, gets it for the Dockers to Sarong, kicking towards right half forward. Akers flew, couldn't mark. Stevens on the ground, hand pass it forward to Parker for the Swans, now to McInerney, and he spears the pass in towards Heaney. They don't take it slowly now, moving it on to Clark, and he marks. He'll go back. Sydney deciding now will hang on to the footy to Parker on the southern wing, back again to Lloyd. He's got players behind him if they want to play keeping off the Swans, and you wouldn't blame him for that. Instead, the pass is towards the boundary on the wing to Parker. Back again to Rampy, who marks at left half back. The Swans, 29 minutes gone, lead by 11 points over Fremantle.
Sand through the hourglass for the Dockers. Rampy long down the wing. The Dockers have the numbers. Ryan's at the back. Gathers just in the field of play. He's bumped out by Heaney. A throw in on the wing. They need 2 in quick time, Fremantle. Sydney looking to take home the 4 points back to the Harbour City. Darcy down. Warner the clearance though. Tumbles it into the pocket for Sydney. Like an obedient dog, it bounces towards the boundary line. And the umpire will spin it back in.
Not sure about sufficient intent then.
No, it's not deliberate.
No?
No.
Sydney lead by 11 points. We've played 29 and a half in the fourth.
Thrown back in. Tapped down by Reid. Straight to the Dockers. Ryan. And then on to Mundy. Kicks towards the southern wing. Cox couldn't take it. He's been thrown forward. There was Paddy McCartan. Sends it back inside attacking 50. Ball ricochets away. Young hits it at pace at right half back. His hand pass, though, intercepted to Rowbottom. Hands it off in turn to Stevens. He shoots at an open goal from 45 out, and he kicks it. That'll seal it for Sydney.
Warner's tackle.
The Swans will win in the West. 11-16-82. The Dockers 9-11-65. Half an hour gone in the final term.
Chad Warner's intent and effort on Young just to force a spillage. Then the heat came. Had all the momentum, Hayden Young, then to get around him. Fingernail in, force a turnover.
Great desperation.
Oh, absolutely. And Cox is excited.
So too's the coach.
Coach is up and about.
Tom Longmire thrilled with that performance, as he should be. They've come west and they've won.
Back in the middle, Darcy flicking it down. Rowbottom snaps across his body. Young drops the mark. He knows he's got to go. He plays on, spirals it towards half forward. Fife can't complete the mark. Loose footy. The Swans will be there to mop it up. Tom McCartan away to Fox, to Goulden, who just says, settle down, boys. He'll kick back to Lloyd. Lloyd will go back to the back pocket. The Sydney Swans come west and win. They down the Dockers by 17 points on the back of a second half blitz.
Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
Sydney win their 11th of the season. The goal kickers for the Swans, Patley with 2, Goulden with 2, Amati with a couple, Heaney, Haywood, Warner, Franklin, Stevens, the other goal kickers for the Dockers, who are totally outplayed in that second half. Taberner with 2, Schultz with 2, Banfield with 2, and singles to Lobb, to Walters and to Mundy. The Swans climb up into 6th.
Cheer, cheer the red and the white, honour the name by day and by night. Lift that noble banner high, shake down the thunder from the sky. Whether the odds be great or small, Swans will go in and win overall. While our loyal Swans are marching onwards to victory.
They trailed by 14 at quarter time, by 15 at the half. Held the Dockers goalless in the third to hit the front to lead by 3 at the final change, and then went on with the job in the last quarter. Sydney winning by 17 points, 11-16-82. The Fremantle 9-11-65. A big win for the Swans. Now gone back-to-back, Sydney. And they add Fremantle to their list of scalps, including the Western Bulldogs, St Kilda, Melbourne, Richmond and the Bombers since round 9 onwards of the season. They keep themselves right in the mix to cause some trouble in September. 44 points for them, and a little, well, slightest of slight percentage boosters from 120.5 to 120.8. For Fremantle, they dropped from 3rd down to 4th. Costly in terms of percentage, they've dropped 3.2 percentage points. They're now 120.6. Geelong winning sees the Cats on top of the ladder. They're a game clear at the moment, but Melbourne, of course, playing Port Adelaide tomorrow in Alice Springs. Sydney by 17. Big group of Swans fans, as we always see here in the West. Great to see such great support for the non-WA teams. We'll go and cheer thank their supporters at the Farmer Freeway end of the stadium. They'll make their way across now. Terrific performance from Sydney. We go back-to-back with wins over Fremantle, and they win 2 games in a row. Buddy Franklin chatting downstairs to Matthew Pavlich. I wonder what he's saying about his future. I reckon he'll still be in the red and white if I was a betting man myself.
Oh, I agree with you.
What did you make of it all, Shane Wade? Cara Antonio?
They're an unbelievable football club, aren't they? And they have been for a very long time. I've said it before, they're my most admired over the journey. Just they're an incredible team, and they fight. I thought they owned the game probably 15 minutes into the first. I reckon Freo were real good early, and then I know Freo kicked one really late, but from that 15-minute mark, I thought they were the better team for the remaining of the match. And the second half, though, I thought they dominated. So Jaya will be really disappointed, I think, defensively. 127 uncontested marks they've allowed Sydney tonight. And 127, they took 11 contested. So 127, that's really, really poor defensively. So the attitude's not right to defend, and they just gave them too much room, and they ought to just build the ball up, find their way through, and get some pressure on the scoreboard going from that. So I think they were 41 marks down between the arcs, uncontested. So everyone's got to buy into that, and I thought that's where they let themselves down tonight, really poorly defensively.
Yeah, it was a tale of 2 halves, really. You mentioned it, Wally, I suppose in that first quarter, or in the first half, Freo 6-5 to 3-8. We spoke about it at half-time. Sydney missed some opportunities, some gettable goals, but there was a clear message, clear discussion at half-time in the Sydney change rooms, and they came out with a different ball movement method, and I thought their team defence all night was outstanding. Their work rate to get over and help out their teammates, to turn up to contests. When ball hit the ground, they were there. The back 6 for Sydney were disciplined all night and held structure, and especially in that second half, didn't allow the Fremantle forwards to hit up, to get any clean ball inside forward 50. The goals that Fremantle were able to score were a little bit chaotic and built, in contested areas, which, again, you'd be happy as a Sydney supporter and player and coaching staff. I thought they were fantastic. For the majority of the game, they owned a lot of the game, and they just looked more damaging with ball in hand, I thought. And a fantastic win on the road. It's a hard road trip. It's always spoken about, but I thought they were outstanding tonight, Sydney.
Very, very good win. Very good win on the road. Back-to-back wins now.
Yep.
Haven't done it for 6 weeks. Is that right? When was that?
Sydney. You've got to go back to rounds 11 and 12. They beat Richmond at the SCG, and then that big upset when they beat Melbourne at the MCG by 12 points. And probably what's even better for them now is they go back to Sydney, and they're there for the next 2 weeks. In fact, to finish the season, they've got 3 of their 5 games at the SCG. So Adelaide next week, GWS at the SCG, North at the Docklands, Collingwood at the SCG, and St Kilda at the Docklands to wrap things up for the Swans.
Doesn't that throw the top 4 into...
It really does.
They jumped to 6th now.
So they're 6th. Their percentage is competitive with everybody in sort of within striking distance, and by that I mean Collingwood and Fremantle. And you would argue, if you look through that, if Sydney can play like they have today, Collingwood in round 22 is their one genuine challenge. They could win 4 of their 5 games to finish the season. Let's go downstairs. Akash Fodderdar's down in the Swans rooms.
Thanks, Clint. It's very, very noisy down here. There's a very happy Sydney team as they come in. All the coaching staff are lined up, high-fiving the players as they come in. You can hear all the whooping. I think they really know how big and how important that win was. So they're just huddling up now, getting ready for the song. Lots of hugs between the coaching staff and the players as well. John Longmire's got a big smile too. Here they go.
What did it mean? Well, the reaction of John Longmire, who stood at the entrance to the rooms and hugged every player as they walked by, and then probably saved just the most joyous embrace for Chad Warner as the last player in. That's what it meant for Sydney to win against Fremantle here at Perth Stadium tonight. 11-16-82 to 9-11-65. We're with you for about another 15 minutes. So Cash will do his best to get someone from the Swans to have a chat with us as well. But just repeating, Amati with a couple, maybe a question mark about his shoulder. Certainly did look a bit worse for wear when a little bit of friendly fire in a marking contest from Lance Franklin. Goulden got a couple to Papley, Warner, Stevens, Heaney, Haywood and Franklin, the other goal kickers. So Lance Franklin with a chance, 2 more goals, and he'll go past Gary Ablett Sr. and move into 5th place in the most goals kicked in the VFL AFL competition. You would suggest he can do that at the SCG, which I think so.
Next week.
Always a nice touch when you can do that in your home ground.
How quickly has he got to 1,031? Or
from 1,000?
From 1,000. Yeah. It's only gone like...
It's quite funny. Like, Clint and I write our stats in our books each week, and, you're normally writing players 15 games this year, 30 games this year, 11 goals this year, 16 behinds, and you get to Buddy, 1,029. You go, whew.
I know.
Writing 4 numbers for his goals.
Have a look down that page.
It's so odd.
So you go through and you've got Sam Reid with 174, Tom Papley with 203, Heaney with 182. 1,229 starting tonight, Lance Franklin. It does stand out slightly.
Yep.
It was tremendous to see him. You always hope to see him back here again, but he has ruined his average. He won't care. He's walked away a winner. But before this, 8 goals, 6 goals and 1 goal tonight. But the Swans get the points.
It does make potentially, Fremantle's next home game against Melbourne on the Friday night, assuming if they are to go on and win next week, the Fremantle Dockers
have got the standalone Friday game against Richmond. Yeah.
And then they've got Melbourne at home. That could be a game for potentially top 2.
Richmond will be seeding today, and they've opened up the bottom half of the 8. Richmond today.
It's been a great season.
It has.
If you're just a football lover, this is as good a season as you're likely to get. I feel like we're as close as we've ever been to the any given Sunday that the AFL wants, where you sort of roll up and you think, are they a chance today? And particularly with the top 8 sides, you don't know. It's really hard. It's a wide open premiership race too.
Oh, yes, it is now. It is now. Probably 6 weeks ago, you probably wouldn't have thought. Racing 2, but now, that whole 8 can win.
Melbourne have won 2 of their last 6, and against fellow top 8 sides are 2 and 4. So how well are the D's really going? I don't know.
Cats are flying.
But there's always a question mark about can they win at the MCG when it matters? They're so dominant at home. I'm not saying they can't. They proved tonight they've beaten Carlton, who are going to be a top 8 side, but everybody's got a little question mark over them, and everyone on their day can win, which is, as Ben said, the any given Sunday or any given Saturday or any given Friday night, you just go into it going, well, I think this, but...
And we all tipped Fremantle here tonight.
I did say, and I think Benny
said it.
Someone should have gone the Swans.
Yeah, I know.
Curry, you should have.
Well, I can't. I'm not allowed.
Why not? Say I was doing it because I knew otherwise it'd be a Moz.
That's right. We're not tipping against the AFLW side.
No. Still my team.
Yeah, that's true. I'll accept
Collingwood.
that.
No, you said it was Collingwood.
I wonder how much Don Pike had on that tonight. Reckon a fair bit, Benny?
What do you mean?
Offence.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was interesting. I thought you spoke about it in the second quarter, how well Fremantle were guarding the corridor. And the Swans, with that typical Don Pike ball movement, they tend to get it right off the 45 and everything opens up from there. Freo guarded that really well, but there was a clear change at half-time where they started to go a little slower and control it.
Let's go downstairs into the Swans' rooms. The Cash Fodder.
Thanks, Clint. I've got Chad Warner with me. Chad, rousing rendition of the song when you guys came in. Just how important was that win?
Oh, that was amazing. For our confidence, it was huge. For our, points on the ladder, it was huge. And that win over in Perth is always massive, especially with that crowd. So we couldn't be happier.
Great. I'll throw you upstairs because I know our team's got plenty of questions for you. Our experts are Cara Antonio and Shane Woden.
Beautiful.
Hey, Chad, congratulations on the win and an outstanding individual performance from yourself.
Thank you.
we spoke about it throughout the call up here, but there was a clear message or clear shift at half-time in terms of your ball movement. What was said to address that? Because we thought you came out in the second half and were able to chip through the Fremantle's defence and hit the scoreboard quite nicely.
Yeah, well, I guess you would have seen that second quarter. We were absolutely all over him, just couldn't kick a goal. And yeah, that's exactly right. We were pretty much just kicking it, keeping it off him. And that's why at half-time they told us to keep doing that. And this bigger ground suits us with that style of play compared to over in the SCG. So, yeah, it's great that all the boys managed to pull it off like we did. And, yeah, it's a great win.
And your individual performance, I mean, you had 35, some tackles, hit the scoreboard and a number of clearances. I know for you play inside, but you also flip forward. Where do you play your best footy?
Yeah, I reckon, like you said, probably in the middle at the moment. Yeah, I think going forward, I'm just trying to add a bit more strings to my bow, I guess, and I guess the spot to rest when I'm a bit tired, but definitely the midfield is my best spot at the moment.
Jay, congratulations, mate. Shane Woden here. You enjoy coming home playing, don't you?
Oh, it's great. Obviously great to see the family and that's the main thing, but yeah, this crowd is absolutely crazy, and it's great to hear him up and about, and yeah, obviously to keep him quiet tonight.
What went through your mind when James H came to you at the start of the last?
Yeah, well, I think obviously he's been known to tag in the past, so I just thought just keep playing how I do, use my power and my speed, and I'll be right. And just get around to my other teammates and to help me out a little bit. But they did a great job of that, and yeah, I think we managed to get that done well.
What's it been like being at the Sydney Footy Club? I know this is your third season, I think. The third,
yep. Yep.
What's it been like? What have they meant to you and the coaches and what they're driving you on in your game at the moment?
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously back 3 years ago, it was amazing that they gave me the opportunity that they have to be put on a list. But yeah, at the moment, they've pretty much just been developing me into obviously the best player I can be. And it's massive. Obviously, they've given me a lot of midfield time, allowing me to flourish. And it's just all about driving yourself, though. They've got all the resources around you, but yeah, I'm pretty driven myself.
Chad Warner, our special guest, with us here on Grandstand AFL.
Chad, it's Ben Cameron here. Damien Barrett said during the week on Channel 9 that he thinks you're a future Brownlow medal winner. I know that people inside the Sydney Swans think the same. I've spoken to people inside the Swans about it. How does that land with you when you hear that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's an amazing compliment to hear that getting recognised for your game, but I guess, for me, I just want to win a grand final at the moment. And I think we're doing that in the right way, and if I can help the team do that the best way possible, I'm happy whatever happens.
Has there been any banter with Buddy Franklin about his contract demands for next year around the group?
Nah, not at all. I don't think anyone even really cares at the moment, to be honest. We're just, like I said, too focused on finals. All that'll take care of itself like it always does. But, us boys love him, so that's all that matters.
Chad, a little bit of a bizarre one from me. I know you spent an extended period over here in the summer. You played a bit of cricket for East Fremantle Cricket Club.
Yeah.
I used to play for them, or I played one game for them. How did you find that?
Oh yeah, well it wasn't the highest grade, to be honest. So yeah, I'm not that good of a cricketer, but it's great fun to play with a lot of old schoolmates and that. Just to obviously switch off for a bit. And I love cricket myself personally. The summer of cricket's one of my favourite things. So it was great to get the stick back in the hand and make a few runs.
More Davey Warner than Chad Warner. Don't be so modest. How many runs did you make?
I made 100 on one of them, I think, in the 90s on the next, but. The grade wasn't too great, so I'm not gonna count it.
It's Clint Wilden here, Chad. I'm going to be a bit cheeky, and Shane, don't get upset. But we're wondering about the East Fremantle link and the blonde tip link. We know how successful that's been. Have you thought about that at all? Another East Fremantle potential Brownlow medalist with the peroxided hair?
It's big in the Warner family, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. Well, obviously we've got Shane here at the moment, don't we? But I think it's going a bit dark at the moment, though. I might have to see what Mum wants to do if she wants to tip him again. But what do you guys reckon?
I've heard this. It's big in the Warner family. All the boys have it, don't they?
Yeah, definitely.
Corey.
All the younger boys. In our family love it. But Mum's a hairdresser, so she loves it too. Getting around us boys.
It attracts votes. Like it's a proven fact that bald or blonde hair, you get more votes in the Brownlow.
Hey, Chad, how's it having Corey there with you?
It's great. We're living together with a couple other boys, and it's amazing for the support. Obviously, having another family member close by. Absolutely loving it. He's playing well in the twos, so it's going great.
Can you believe the season you've had, going right back to when, the involvement you had with Buddy Franklin's magical moment? It's been a tremendous year for yourself personally and the footy club.
Yeah, I guess. It's been a long year, that's for sure. It's going pretty quick though, but I think just the way I've developed, I've been really happy with. Like I said before, I think it just comes down to that drive that you have, and I've got to keep staying consistent, keep my body right, and we'll be good.
A lot of focus gets put on the older, the experienced players at Sydney, but when you look through the list, yourself 21, Dylan Stevens 21, Rowbottom's 21. We love what we see from Errol Goulden, who's 19. There's such a chance for this big group of players over the next few years. Is that fair to say?
Oh, definitely. I think, probably the whole of Australia can see it. And we're all so close, us young boys, which is obviously probably why we're doing so well at the moment. I love all those boys, and we'll be great mates for life. Sorry boys, we just got to do one more question though, I was just saying.
No, that was my last one. We really appreciate the time. Chad, thanks for talking to us. Best of luck for what's to come in 2022.
Thank you very much. Cheers, guys.
Good on you. Chad Warner downstairs in the Sydney rooms. Always great to have a yarn with him. What a player he looks like he's going to end up being. Well, in fact, already is, but what he might develop from here.
Hey? And he just straight up.
I thought it was a very fair question. Yeah. And if he hadn't asked it, I was going to. It's no doubt in the world.
Oh, well.
Yeah, no.
Most of us don't know what it's like to be predicted as a future Brownlow medalist. It'd be a pretty full-on thing to be hearing, I'd imagine.
It's one of those ones, do you get a real kick from it? Because if you get mentioned among those dispatches, you're going pretty well. How do you then deal with that sort of pressure?
Yeah, I think he's got good people around him within that football club to keep him level-headed, whether it's Mills or Parker, Kennedy as players, but certainly John Longmire will make sure he's right there and not getting too far ahead of himself. But it doesn't sound a very humbled young man, isn't he?
And that's what I was saying. They ride him very hard internally because they have such big raps on him. Yeah.
Great fun to chat to. And in terms of conversation, would you rather be people talking about, I think he's a chance of being a Brownlow medalist, or do you think he's got a spot on the list next year?
Yeah.
I know which one I'd rather be spoken about. Ben, we're just about to wrap things up. We better have a look at all those other numbers. Just repeating the two results tonight. A ripper here in the West. Sydney by 17 points over Fremantle in the other game. The Cats, the ladder leaders, they stretched their advantage out to a game. Of course, Melbourne playing tomorrow against Port Adelaide, but Geelong by 30 points over Carlton. What are the other numbers from tonight, tell us?
So overall, the contested possessions, Fremantle +8 in that area. The clearances, +6 Fremantle, 35 to 29. The inside 50s, Sydney 54 to Fremantle's 44. The tackles, Sydney 62, Fremantle 52. Overall disposals, Sydney 371 to Fremantle's 350. The marks 138 to 79. I think you said, Wowie, 124 uncontested marks.
27 or something.
127, so a big number there for Sydney. Luke Ryan finished up with 24, the best of the Dockers for the Swans. The man we spoke to, Chad Warner, 35 disposals at 77% disposal efficiency, 800 metres gained. So a fair day there. Mills with 26. And sadly, the worst number of the night, Fremantle now 19-1 when Lockie Schultz kicks multiple goals.
You're really disappointed, aren't you?
People think we care about the result. We don't. I'm flattened right off that my stat is done.
Do you reckon our TV friends might have pinched it tonight? If they have and they've used it, I'll be talking to Adam this week.
If they've mozzed it, if they've used it and then it's ruined it, I think that we can safely assume that's why.
Yeah. Let's blame them for that because they were going to pinch it, weren't they?
Yeah.
Good stat too. Final thoughts, gents, ladies?
Yeah, well done. Great game of footy, wasn't it? I thought it was a terrific game of footy. And, a dangerous team, Sydney, going forward. And if they get some games in or at the SCG, in the cup in the next month. Makes it very difficult for some opposition up there on their home deck.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the rest of the season plays out now for both clubs with the next few rounds coming up. It's going to be a really exciting finish to the season and the top 8, more importantly, the top 4.
Fremantle will want to respond. They have a rare standalone Friday night next week at the Docklands against Richmond. Sydney have got the early game on Saturday against Adelaide at the SCG. Grandstand AFL continues tomorrow if you're in the West. After Grandstand AFL Sunday with Corbin Middlemass, Hawthorn against the West Coast Eagles, and Melbourne and Port Adelaide, Essendon and the Gold Coast Suns to wrap up round 18. Tonight, Sydney by 17 over the Dockers in front of nearly 46,500 fans, and the Cats by 30 against Carlton. Wherever you're listening, thanks for your company. Clint Wilden saying, behalf of the team, bye for now.